Good morning once more. My name is Ogochukwu Akabogu. Together with Hadiza Olaosebikan, we'll be hosting you today on this platform. We want to say a big thank you to you for honoring our invitation and for your patience. And we'll be kicking off immediately. Let me remind you of the theme of this event. It says, the strategists for the recovery, for the sustainability and growth of MSMEs post-pandemic. We will all agree that the pandemic, which came as a health tsunami, has affected businesses and the economy in general, globally, in different ways. For some people, it opened a new chapter, and for so many others, it closed a whole book for them. And that is why we are here to discuss, share knowledge, share information, share experiences on how it has affected different people in different sectors. And who else to share this with but our esteemed customers and prospects and our stakeholders who have been very supportive of what we do in Bank of Industry. Permit me to also share with you that this is the first of its kind in Bank of Industry, where the SME Directorate will be having a national customer forum virtually. And thanks to pandemic as well, it seems like a very good aspect of the pandemic that we are adopting a new way of doing something, and the customer forum is bringing all of us together. My hope and wish is that each and every one of us here will have something to learn, something to take home, and something that will impact our businesses and our lives positively. With that said, I'm going to invite Mr. Pacqueens Irabor, the regional manager for South-South, to give us an opening prayer, and then we take it up from there. Thank you very much. Relax and have a wonderful time with Bank of Industry SME Directorate. Pacqueens Irabor, please.
Shall we pray? Our Father, we thank you. We appreciate you for the gift of life. We thank you for making October 14, 2021 a reality for SME Customer Forum. We appreciate you for our dear country, Nigeria. We thank you for our government. And we thank you for the power on this platform today as stakeholders creating wealth for Nigeria. Father, we thank you because you have kept them all through the thick and thin. COVID-19 came, but their business did not go with COVID-19. We thank you for the recovery. And Lord, because you uphold everything by the power of your word, you told man, be fruitful and multiply, replenish and subdue the world. Father, I pray that from this moment, the grace, the power for the businesses that are creating fruit, creating products and services for Nigeria to multiply, to replenish, and to subdue not just Nigeria, but the entire African continent. Father, let it be released to every stakeholder today in the mighty name of Jesus. This begins the beginning of new beginnings. It is the beginning of recovery for many, sustainability for a lot, and for growth for all. In the mighty name of Jesus, we thank you for Bank of Industry for keeping us all through these 62 years of existence. We'll continue to work stronger, and as we work stronger, we'll continue to make life easier for every manufacturer and entrepreneur in Nigeria. And they too will make it easier for our citizens. And together we'll be happy as a nation. Thank you because Everything will be upheld today by the power of your word. Everything will go smoothly, and everyone will return rejoicing in the mighty name of Jesus. We thank you for hearing our prayers in Jesus' mighty name.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, Pacqueens.
Welcome once again. Sorry about that, everybody. We say amen to that prayers. Because the Bank of Industry recognizes the importance of customer engagement, and it also recognizes that customer is king, our Executive Management Committee are also on this call. Permit me to start my introduction by introducing the Managing Director and Chief Executive Officer of the Bank of Industry, Mr. Oluka, who has made it possible for us to hold this program today. Also, we have the Executive Director, Mr. Jonathan Tobin. He's the Executive Director of Corporate Services. Mr. Jonathan Tobin is also on this call. I've seen Mr. Omar Shekarau. Mr. Omar Shekarau is Executive Director SME. He's actually the host of today's program. I've seen Mr. Leonard Kange. He's the General Manager, Large Enterprises 1. Also, we have Dr. Rislanudeen. He's the General Manager, SME. He's also one of the hosts of today's program. As we continue, we'll also recognize others. Our speakers for today, because of the importance of today's program, we invited distinguished speakers. Let me start by introducing Mr. Francis Anatogo. He's a Senior Special Assistant to the President of the Federal Republic of Nigeria on Public Sector Matters and Secretary of the National Action Committee on AFCFTA. Mr. Muhammad Sani Bello is the Chief Promoter of Belas Rice Ltd. He's also here with us today. We have Mrs. Oluremi Martins, who is the founder of Natural Girl Wigs. We have Mr. Salem King, who is a storyteller and a freelance content creator. We have Mr. Shion Oshundiron. He's a Vice President of Energy Solar Limited. We also have representatives from Nigerian Exchange Limited, Mr. Akin-Olusoji, who is a trained economics policy expert and senior management leader. We shall give you profile of all our speakers as the event commences, once we commence the event, before their presentation. Let me start again by welcoming Mr. Omar Shekarau, who's going to give us the welcome address. Mr. Omar Shekarau, like I said earlier, is the Executive Director, SME at the Bank of Industry. Mr. Omar, sir.
Thank you very much, Hadiza. With this, I say the Managing Director, Bank of Industry. We welcome you, sir. We welcome the Executive Directors and EMC members of the bank. We welcome our customers and prospects, strategic partners, staff of BOI and subsidiaries, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, and of course, the esteemed members of the press who have also joined us. It is an interesting thing to see that we have already gone to 386 participants. On behalf of the SME Directorate and the larger family, the Bank of Industry, we welcome all of you to this unique event. Unique in the sense that our customer forum has always been in different locations at different regions. But today we're having it at national level where everybody has keyed in, and eventually all others will key in, and they will ask us questions. We'll be able to answer questions. We're able to discuss the way forward. We'll hear from you one-on-one, and we'll find solutions to that. Ladies and gentlemen, you're welcome, and we appreciate your presence. Permit me to also mention that with the pandemic, last year, SME Directorate was able to disburse 25.76 billion to our customers. With all the issues around the world, we're able to do that. We want to appreciate you, want to thank you for being part of us, for the struggle and the effort to continue in your various businesses. It gives us a lot of pleasure to see you performing, and where there are issues, we know that we have to work together to resolve those issues. We don't want to bother you with a lot of things, but it's important to note that we are not unaware of the challenges of COVID-19 pandemic. We have done the best we can, reducing our interest rate, structuring our businesses and giving you the best we can. We know that the best is not yet enough. The best is to make sure that we can carry you to success at the end of these issues and make sure that your business will continue to grow. We are aware of the new normal, and that is why we are meeting today. We need to get everybody on board to understand that things have changed and things have to be done differently. We will be able to tell you our BOI initiatives while talking to you today so that you know where we are going to. We'll also be able to talk to you about our various strategies with our strategic partners and how we've been able to get to where we are. We will get to the level that everybody will be comfortable that BOI is supporting the SMEs. And finally, it's important to mention that in the 2-day retreat by the federal government, chaired by the president himself, ministries were asked to discuss their scorecard, their achievements and issues. When the Ministry of Industry was called, the first thing that was mentioned by those anchoring it was that in the life of Nigeria, this administration is the first that has supported the SMEs in Nigeria in the last few years, especially during the pandemic. And that was all that was mentioned, and therefore the ministry got an A for that. And of course, you know, by extension, if the ministry, anytime the ministry has an A, then that A translates to BOI being part of that A. We want to thank you for the support. We are not unaware of the challenges of our collateral security. We're not unaware of multiple taxations by the federal, states, and local government agencies. We are not also unaware of the cost and time when it comes to legal consent given by state governors. We are not unaware of also the cultural mindset of some Nigerians who believe that whatever they take from BOI or any government institution is part of their national cake. But we are happy that you are not part of that, and we will continue to support you to make sure that you grow your businesses. At this note, it's important to say once again, thank you very much and welcome. Please feel free to challenge issues, feel free to ask us questions, and we are ready to give you honest and straightforward answers. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for honoring this invitation. We will invite you again at a time when we feel we should, and at a time when we know you will certainly honor the invitation. Thank you and welcome once again.
Thank you very much, sir. That was the Executive Director, SME, Mr. Omar Shekarau. I would like to also welcome the MD-CEO, Mr. Olukayode Piton, who will be giving us his opening remarks. Before then, I skipped the Executive Director, Large Enterprises, Mr. Simon Aranono, who is also on this call. Mr. Kaide Piton, sir. Okay. Whilst we're waiting for the MD, Mr. Olukayode Piton, to come on, I think we'll call on the keynote speaker, Dr. Rislanudeen Muhammad, who is the General Manager, SME-North.
Good morning all. I'm sure the MD may be hearing us. Maybe he may be having some technical challenges.
I think
the network, which is exactly what the ED SME also said we are having here in Abuja. Having said that, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the MD, executive management, good morning to you all. I am asked to present a brief basically on the keynote topic that is being the subject of discussion, that is to say post-pandemic strategies for SME recovery, sustainability, as well as growth. You gentlemen will, ladies and gentlemen will recall that sometimes in December 2019, there was this outbreak of COVID-19 in a town in somewhere in China, and it soon became a global phenomenon. Specifically, it became a big problem for us here in Nigeria, precisely from March 2020. We had the lockdowns, we had Forex crisis, We had huge negative impact on the MSMEs, job losses, and so on. And this also affected the implementation of African Continental Free Trade Area, which actually delayed. And luckily enough for us, given the resilience of our economy, we are able to exit recession in a kind of V-shaped exit. That means just getting in and swinging out immediately, and we thank God for that. And this is by no means a natural thing. It, of course, came in as a result of significant efforts, direct effort from the federal government, especially as encapsulated in the Economic Sustainability Plan, 2.3 trillion Economic Sustainability Plan, and embedded in it was the CBN MSME Fund, 1.1 trillion, and also embedded in it is the huge plethora of support that Bank of Industry has granted to our customers, both MSMEs and large enterprises, specifically on issues relating to reduction of interest rates, extension of tenor, as well as looking at customers based on case-specific businesses. There are some customers where we realize that even after reducing the interest rate that we did, which is general, and increasing the tenor as well, or elongating, delaying the repayment and so on, even at that, we have to look at them based on their own peculiar situations. And we have done that. That has in no small measure helped in ensuring that those businesses do not end up sinking, and by extension, destroying the value addition that are built over the years in terms of job creation and so on. And so basically, the raising data of Bank of Industry is essentially to support growth of Nigerian economy, leveraging on, like I said earlier, on capacity to provide long-term funding, as well as reduction of interest rate. So essentially, we as Bank of Industry complement the efforts of DMBs. We are not competitors. We go to areas where it will become difficult for them. It will be difficult for DMBs to provide long-term fund, 5 years, 7 years funds. It will be difficult for them to provide loans at much lower interest as we do, simply because you cannot give what you don't have. So essentially, we are complementing their efforts. And for that, Bank of Industry will continue to be faithful to its core vision and mission in supporting MSMEs, which are essentially, like I said earlier on, the engine of growth of any economy. Given the opportunities now in AFTA, it is our responsibility to propel those companies that can be able to evenly compete within the African space, and by extension, supporting job creation and growth of our economy and African economy in general. With 41 million plus, as stated by SMED and MSMEs, anywhere, if you look at our population, you look at the quantum of jobs that MSMEs create, there is no way any government will look at MSMEs with kid gloves, because they are the engine of growth. They support job creation. They support, and by extension, the MSMEs support in reducing social crisis. And social crises themselves is a huge avoidable cost, as it typically crowd out investment in other critical sectors like infrastructure, power, and so on. If you look at 2022 budget as presented by Mr. President, and the details are disaggregated by the Honorable Minister of Finance, you will understand what I'm talking about. If you see the quantum of money set aside, for security, these funds that typically will have gone into areas like infrastructure, power, and so on, that will, by extension, provide conducive atmosphere for growth of those small businesses. So The challenges that typically stifle capacity of MSMEs to grow are well known, and it is not my mandate to discuss them, but the key issue that I just want to highlight is the issue of finance, and that is where BOI comes in. BOI has been supporting MSMEs. We have seen businesses starting from a youth entrepreneurship program, small business started by a youth corpus, growing to micro businesses, growing to SMEs. We have seen businesses that have started in this bank, this bank started them as SMEs. Now they are large businesses employing a lot of people and creating value to Nigerian economy. And so that is a critical mandate. And that is how BOI is judged. BOI does not necessarily need to be judged by profit. BOI's main judgment parameter essentially is impact. The capacity of BOI to create that impact is what will endear it to Nigeria, is what will show clearly as to how BOI has supported Nigerian economy. We are not a DMB. So notwithstanding the fact that, yes, we need to make profit, we need to live above board, but the key underlying parameter that we always judge ourselves is the impact that we make on Nigerian economy. MSMEs, and by supporting Nigerian economy, will grow optimally. And the common denominator of supporting this growth is to make things easy for all our customers, all our MSME customers, all the customers of Bank of Industry. And I hope I have not preempted the MD speech. I had wanted the MD to speak first so that I can skip one or two of those things that he might have mentioned. With having said that, I wish all of us a very, very fruitful, eventful, value-added discussions. And we do hope and pray that at the end of our 3 or 4 hours discussions, which we have now about 464 participants, we will be better off in terms of understanding how we can grow our businesses, that is for MSMEs, and for BOI also, we could also understanding how we can continue to leverage on the knowledge we had, the knowledge we'll have today in terms of supporting our MSME businesses. I thank you very much for listening.
Thank you, Mr. Rislanudeen, for that wonderful intro into what we are here to do. We want to thank ED SME too for starting us off on that high as well. Now we're getting into the next segment where we will have to hear from some experts whom we have invited to take us through what has happened, what is happening, and what needs to happen in every business sector to be able for us to take advantage of the new normal while sustaining our businesses as we are recovering and growing the businesses to profitability and taking advantage of all the opportunities there is within the continent and beyond the continent. And that is why we have Francis Anatogo, who has been introduced earlier on. His profile has been given to speak to us on what AFCFTA is all about, the opportunities there is for Nigerians and Nigerian businesses, locally and internationally, what it portends for us. Are there challenges we're likely to have getting involved and signing the agreement and partaking in the area? He is here and he has all it takes to guide us through that. Mr. Francis, please, you have the floor to speak, and welcome.
Thank you very much. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you clear.
Okay, and you can see my presentation as well, I hope.
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good morning, the MD and executive team of BOI, and thank you for putting this together. I must acknowledge all the good things that BOI is doing, building the capacity of and supporting not just SMEs but Nigerian businesses in general. And it's gladdening to note the growing capacity that we are developing and understanding what it takes to support the local economy and grow the local economy. I think I will really, my topic is on Africa Continental Free Trade Area Agreement. And for us, it is, we know clearly that for us to say that AFCFTA will work, it will only work if it works for SMEs. But I'll also say that the future is for SMEs really. And the future for SMEs, yes, COVID-19 came abruptly and led to millions of deaths, but it also led to the fast tracking of adoption of technology that enables us to now do things cheaper, like we are having this meeting here. Yeah, technology has actually changed the landscape for doing business across the world. And for us talking about it, what does AFCFTA has to do with SMEs? So let's bring that down. What is AFCFTA in the first instance? And I know the knowledge is there now, but let's just quickly recap what AFCFTA is about. So the AFCFTA is really about export. It's primarily about export, but then export to Africa. It is about a set of rules to make it easier to export our skills, our goods and services to Africa. Now, on the chat board, some of the questions are around logistics. So even when we solve the power issues, solve the transportation issues and all of that, when we are getting into the export business, we also then need to solve the certification issues, the regulatory issues, and a lot of other issues. And the AFCFTA is an agreement that it's provided to harmonize policies, regulations, and laws among African countries to make it easier for us to trade amongst ourselves. And it covers trade in goods, services. It provides a platform for resolving disputes as well. And it has a protocol for free movement of persons. Of course, you can't do trade without moving forward and backwards. There's also in the phase 2, which is which we are starting now, is around investment policy, is around competition, intellectual property rights, which we all know is critical, especially for the businesses in services. But what does it offer in definite terms? It offers elimination of customs duty on products that meet the rules of origin, which is essentially the African content. I did not say Nigerian content, I said African content, because if you're able to show that any product originates from Africa, it adds to the calculation of rules of origin. Why is that a benefit and not a disadvantage? What it means is that we are now deliberately bringing jobs into Africa. We now need to develop the value chains, develop our supply network within Africa in terms of the inputs, the components, the semi-finished products, and as well as the finished products. So all of these means that we have spaces to play, not just in finished products. The other thing that it provides the platform for is harmonization of, I talked about it earlier, regulations and standards. For instance, we know how, that it takes a while to get through the NAFDAC and SON certification and all of that. Okay, so we know what it takes to certify products and get the necessary documents from NAFDAC, from other certification agencies. Now imagine that if you're going for export, you also need to satisfy the requirements of those of similar agencies of those countries. So with AFCFTA, there's a platform to harmonize all this so that when everything is working, then if you present a NAFDAC certificate, it will be recognized in other countries. Again, customs cooperation. We cannot really trade and eliminate the tariffs if we don't have cooperation among our customs organizations in the various countries that are part of the AFCFTA. And when the trading starts and gets on the way, we expect that we will very quickly double our intra-Africa trade, which is currently at 15% or thereabout. And by doing that, we're growing our economy, we're creating jobs. And the question is, why is it important for us in Nigeria, and why now? And if you can see my slide, you can see now Africa imports $600 billion. Nigeria's oil export to the world, our total oil export is around 60 billion, 50, 60 billion. So what we export to the world is just 10% of what Africa imports from the rest of the world. So so that tells you how much opportunity there are, how much opportunities there are in Africa. The other thing to note is that with the devaluation, every time we witness devaluation in our currency, what that means is it reduces our ability to scale. But by actually engaging in export business, you have access to foreign currency, so you are hedging. So if you are hedging, it's easier to do business, it's easier to scale, it's easier to protect your wealth. The other reason is that the problem we have in Nigeria is problem of growth. Yes, there are issues. We can do some cost optimization, but we need to grow our economy. And it is obviously a no-brainer to grow an economy and target a market of 1.2 billion people versus a market of 200 million people. Don't get me wrong, 200 million is a lot, but 1.2 billion is much bigger. Now, if you look across sectors, be it in manufacturing, energy, agriculture, services, no African country is self-sufficient. That's number one. So, and the second thing is that across all these sectors, African countries import manufactured products. We have always desired to industrialize. So, and the opportunity is here now. Now, if you just imagine that UK that just left EU about a year plus ago has gone ahead and signed a number of free trade agreements with the rest of the world. That tells you that there is something in it that we must not ignore. Now, for SMEs, for SMEs across Africa, it's about that opportunity to sell their products. You don't really need to export yourself by yourself, but you can sell to people that aggregate and subsequently export. But you need to understand what the export requirements are, so that you find your businesses to support them. And we'll talk about some of those requirements. There are challenges, so many challenges, right? But these challenges are being solved one after the other. A key one now I can mention, the Executive Director for SME. So there are challenges and infrastructure. The opportunities I already showed. Now, recognizing those challenges, what we've done at the National Action Committee is to put together a national vision for AFCFTA, a mission, and some strategic objectives. And we have also defined goals that identifies that will help us solve issues beyond just implementing.
Thank you, Ugo. The team is working along with him to make sure that he comes back. So,
Okay, sir.
ladies and gentlemen, bear with us. He will soon be back. But remember, this is your bank. This is your directorate, the SME directorate.
Yes.
Remember, just a month ago, the international rating Fitch company rated your bank from AA plus to AAA. It is one of the best rated banks in Nigeria. This is your bank. We are in 30 states of the Federation to make sure that we are with you. The best way to serve you is to be very close to you. 7 years back, we were in 7 areas only, 7 locations. Today, we are in 30. God willing, we'll continue to increase the number so that eventually we'll be in all the states of all the state capitals of the Federation, mainly to serve you and to create impact. Remember, the federal government special program for MSMEs, the 75 billion and the 50 billion that came through NEPC are being handled by your bank. The federal government insisted it should go to BOI because there's integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, there's a lot that your bank is doing. We can't thank you for the support, for believing us, and being part of us as well. You're welcome once again. Thank you.
BOI facility came first in 2017, which was under the ESP program, and we successfully paid back. In 2020, we got our second facility, which is still running, and it was actually for improving our production in the farm, which is buying of battery cages to improve production and also increase our output. The intervention we got from BOI have actually helped us to scale up. Some of the benefits attached to it was, one, we're able to get a battery cage, which increased the number of birds we were able to stock. That's also, with the battery cage, we now have neater eggs, fresher eggs, and sizable eggs. Of course, with 30 units of cages, it means more people will be employed. So it has actually created more job opportunity for people to come into our company and generally increase our output. On daily production, we've actually increased what we now sell. We are meeting up with some of our customers' demand, which I would say have been more positive. Well, with the coming of COVID, everything changed. First, one of the greatest challenges we had with the outbreak of COVID was movement of goods. Because we deal more in perishable goods, it was very difficult for us to move around. There were restrictions, there were lockdowns. But because we also a member of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, we came together and met with the governments to tell them reasons why products such as us should be allowed free movement, because since it's a food item, it was supposed to be allowed to move. So as God may have it, they listened to our cry, and we started moving these products. One of the other challenges we had was getting raw materials. Some of the raw materials we use, like in the feed production, like in the feeding the birds, actually comes from the northern part of the country. And with those lockdown and restriction, it was also difficult. But with the help of the Poultry Association of Nigeria, with the help of the government, we were able to mitigate through those initial challenges. And today, I would say, yeah, COVID affected us, cost-wise and so on, but we survived it, and we're moving on. Well, we are aware of the agreement. I think the agreement is aimed to reduce all trade costs and enable Africa to integrate further into global supply chains. It will eliminate like 90% of tariff, focus on outstanding non-tariff barriers, and create a single market with free movement of goods and services. We're optimistic. when it comes into effect, that is going to be favorable to the African market. We are getting prepared, and I think it's going to be able to provide a better opportunity for us to sell our product, not just within Nigeria, but within the African continent. We believe that it's going to boost the intra-trade by maybe 53% once import duties and non-tariff barriers are eliminated. For we as a company, we are looking at moving our product, just like, for example, the branded eggs and the finished feed within the African countries. We are gradually expanding our factory to increase capacity to see if it is possible for us to meet or create a new market within the borders of Africa. So yes, we are getting ready gradually, and we believe that once this is implemented or domesticated and everybody lives to the terms of agreement, that is going to provide more opportunity for us to sell. Locally, the government should get ready by removing hurdles that might affect or increase our cost of production. For example, when this agreement is signed and there is free movement of goods within the African borders, if we still have internal challenges like something that will affect the cost of our production, we might not be able to compete with our fellow counterparts in other African countries. So yeah, government needs to do, first and foremost, remove those barriers that will increase our cost of production, make light or energy or power efficient so that we can produce and compete effectively.
Thank you, Faiza, and the technical team behind the scenes for what you're doing. You heard it from AP Farms. The chief promoter started off with Bank of Industry as a youth entrepreneur under our youth entrepreneurship scheme. And today he has scaled up his business and he is talking export. Who knows where he's taking him? But he made something clear. There are barriers, there are challenges. Cost of production is quite high for our local producers. I'm sure people here on this platform are taking notes and things must be done, as Bank of Industry is already doing its best to make sure that it's easy for our producers. We're going to take the next video that is coming from Adama Plastic Limited, Yola, the chief promoter who will be speaking to us on how they have fared so far. Please. Thank you.
We've been in operations for more than 10 years, but in 2019, we have changed the complete business line. We have started woven sacks and shrink wrap in 2019. We got it disbursed in 2019. That was for our woven sacks division, which is producing these plastic sacks. BOI helped us to get the term loan, which is actually helping us get the loan at a much cheaper price. Basically, you get it in single digits, whereas the commercial loans come at much higher interest rates. That is one. Secondly, capacity utilizations and enhancement of quality. Basically, the business itself, which we are getting into it, with the cheaper cost of finance, it always makes it more easier for us to operate. That's two. And the cost reduction and customer satisfaction and job creation. See, any factory which we are putting in obviously creates more jobs. We have been able to employ quite a lot of people within Yola, which is also part and parcel of our founders' wish that we should try and enhance the living standards of the people over here. The challenges with COVID was, one was most of the raw materials for this company, the products which we are producing, are imported. So during the COVID time, getting the raw material was quite difficult. We did manage to surmount it because we planned in advance. We did our production planning much earlier. We tried to get the product raw materials in time. So we did manage to surmount it pretty well. Yeah, we didn't expect to do as well as what we were in the normal conditions. But yes, we sailed through much more peacefully compared to what we were supposed to be having with the pandemic. So we did plan, we did our disaster management, we did our product lines, we did our raw material planning. All those was taken into consideration of this particular thing. And we sailed through pretty well. We do not have any pending orders from the last year. Because of the pandemic, see the major market over here for woven sacks, the major producers are in Kano and in Lagos. With we being in Yola, it was helpful for the in and around surroundings to pick up the bags from us, so which did help our business in our way. So we were able to expand our wings within Adamawa state, which makes that more viable for us. We would like more governmental support because we do see an opportunity to do business with the neighboring countries, especially Cameroon, Chad, Niger. These are some countries where we can really expand our wings, and that was a possibility with a little bit of help from the government. Right now, all the land borders are closed, so entering into these borders, which are in close proximity to Yola, makes it a little unviable for us right now. But if those doors are opened with little support from the government, we should be able to do much better in business than what we are doing today. We have had a very good experience with BOI. BOI has been very supportive, especially when we needed it. Their processes are good. We really appreciate the kind of support BOI gives us. That's something which I would tell most of the entrepreneurs to just approach BOI because it's more friendly. It's quite process driven, but at the same time, it helps to reduce the cost, especially when it comes to small enterprises. The loan interest really supports new businesses.
Thank you very much. You've also heard from the chief promoter of Adama Plastic Limited, how they have done well in some areas and areas they also have challenges. I don't know if Francis is here. You have an opportunity to round off your presentation.
Okay, so thank you very much. I think I've talked about what the agreement is, and I was talking about how we are approaching the implementation of the AFCFTA. And essentially, for AFCFTA to work, we need to produce what we're going to export to Africa. We've got our biggest export item is actually our people. So we need to grow their capacity we need to also continue to improve our business environment. The fourth one is about a key thing that we found out is that our domestic market requires a lot of support. We need to capacitate, or if you will, we need to unleash the local demand. We need to patronize our local products and help them with the offtake that they need to be competitive in Africa. The issue of infrastructure is known, and it's but there are solutions around that, solutions around building ecosystems, solutions around clustering, so that we are able to reduce the cost of production to go to Africa. Now, if you now start thinking about going to Africa, if you ask yourself, how do I get started? Then a couple of things you need to bear in mind. One is that 90% of tradable items will be liberalized, but it's important to know that the liberalization would happen over a 10-year period. So it's not going to be an off-on switch. So it's going to happen over a 10-year period, which gives us time to get our house in order and perfect what we need to do. The second thing, and I mentioned earlier, is the rules of origin. Your product needs to meet a minimum percentage of local content for it to qualify for the duty exemption. And if you go to our website under the reference documents, you will see a document on rules of origin that tells you what the requirements are for AFCFTA. The third thing to note is that it's not just enough for you to meet the rules of origin requirement. There will be, you will need to go to a compliant assessment process. So it's similar to applying for NAFTA certificate. Important because your product is qualifying an AFCFTA product, your company name, should be passed on to the or the AFCFTA. So when anybody brings your product, the participating systems of that country can certify that indeed the products qualify. The other point to note is the AFCFTA is not just for services, it's also what it is going to do is harmonizing regulation, reduce some of the barriers for trade in terms of visa barriers, the terms of the requirement of business in there's a specific clause on national states that will have to treat or AFCFTA countries will have to treat one another, the businesses, as the same way they will treat their local businesses. So that is a key thing to note under AFCFTA. And of course, things around licensing, areas of licensing, areas of certificates, harmonizing them and recognizing them so that once you present what you are able to practice the country of interest. Last point is to show these are especially for in the COVID pandemic, which is the topic of this. And and share it again. So, and is that goods across for trading goods, there are such as dumping crude oil. I mean, that's a key area. Billions of dollars. Yeah, machinery, mechanical appliances, cereals, rubber, and so on. What I'll do, my presentation will be given to BOI so that it can share to all the participants, so I don't have to go through the details. For trading, especially with the COVID, is the fintech we know. E-commerce is another booming area. Again, e-commerce as a business, but also e-commerce as a channel for delivery of services. Food and essential delivery services, again, goes with the e-commerce. E-learning, e-health, e-entertainment. These are things that you can and sell to the global, not just Nigeria, things from the comfort. In the presentation that will be shared, we had a value chain for see the various sub in payments, asset management is a huge African $6 billion. This is an area bring one. A lot is happening. A lot of us are going to India. A lot of Africans are also hospitals, care. It's again another so from the development, finance. to production, licensing, consumption. Apologize for all the technical, but hopefully when you get the presentation, you'll be able to see the details of what under AFCFTA. And if you have any questions for us, you can either come to us through the BOI, your BOI contact. We have BOI as part of the National Action Committee, so we are working with BOI in this area, and we'll be able to answer any questions that you have and continue to work together. By the way, I'll end by saying that on the second, we have a program trying best way to harmonize SMEs and position into Africa and among other companies. And the result, but just watch. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Francis. The last part of your presentation where you mentioned that we are going to have something, the audio ceased a little bit, so we didn't get the dates and all of that. I will appreciate if you would just chat me up and then have those details so I can announce it later. But all in all, we want to thank you. We're looking forward to another opportunity for you to actually clear our path of any debris for us to participate fully as businesses, take advantage of the benefits fully as a nation. Any ignorance we have on that area, we want an opportunity again. And I guess my ED is here. Maybe he will also approve for the bank to organize a specific session focused on AFTA, so that both staff and our customers are fully enlightened, and we will be in a hurry to go through all of this so we grasp it better. Thank you so much for this, and thank you so much all our attendees and participants. You are wonderful. We thank you. Please don't be in a hurry to log off. Your data investment into this forum is worth every kobo. Please don't go away. Please use the question and answer platform here. A lot of people are already using it, and we've been responding to their questions, so that you don't wait to the end when questions and answers will be going on and we'll have limited time. We can answer you immediately as this program is going on. Our people are on ground answering your questions. If you are representing any strategic partner and you're here, please indicate in the chat room so that we will recognize you, please. We appreciate your presence. And for all our speakers who want to appear, your presentation is for 20 minutes or less if you want to, but please, we want to hear exactly what you're giving to us. We want to take advantage of it. The slides, like Francis has said, will be shared. So all the speakers, please do us the favor and the honor of sharing your slides with us so that all the participants will get it. Thank you very much. As I introduce Hadiza, our delectable TV girl of Bank of Industry, to take you through the next segment. Thank you.
While Hadiza is coming on, let me use this opportunity to specifically thank Francis. We appreciate you. But the interesting thing is that we're already in partnership with you and your institution. So we'll do more, and we will make sure that whatever will be a benefit to our customers, we will ask you to please join us in delivering that to them. I will also want to seize this opportunity to appreciate the support we get from the bank itself, from the MD's office to the directorates, LE, they always hand carry our customers to make sure that they supply all the raw materials to their big customers. And it's a part of appraisal that everybody must make sure that you have SMEs that are supported by your project. The EDME's office, they have agreed and they've taken the micro away from us so that we can focus on the SMEs. So we can't thank them enough. The EDCS, they have given us what is called the mana materiel in the military. the facilities to provide services to you, including the human beings that come to you sometimes to bother you. The MD's office I've mentioned, we can't thank enough. Legal, RMD, O&T, and all the support we get from the bank. Thank you, but for me and my two directors, Dr. Rislanudeen and Obaro, we can't thank the staff of SME enough. You guys are amazing, you're dedicated, and we appreciate your patience. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Yes, so talking about SMEs, we're still talking about SME, and we'd like to call on our second speaker, who is Mr. Muhammad Bello of Belas Rice Ltd. Let me quickly just read a bit about his on his profile. He is the chief promoter of Belas Rice Mills Limited, registered on the 3rd of March 2017 with the purpose, with a built factory. He has a factory in Kano. He's a chartered accountant and a very experienced agro-commodity trader. Mr. Muhammad was a successful banker prior to setting up the company, and he's had a career, he had his career with EcoBank and Skybank respectively. Additionally, he's worked with Mr. El Tayyib for over 15 years. And he'll be talking to us today about the challenges of exporting finished goods and importation of raw materials, which is, which, as we all know, one of the major challenges that is actually facing SMEs in the country. Mr. Muhammad Bello, over to you, sir.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. The Managing Director, Bank of Industry, Executive Management Team of the Bank of Industry, other important dignitaries here present, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. My name is Muhammad Bello Sani. The Hadiza, she messed up one thing. I didn't work with Alhaji Usman El Tayyib. Alhaji Usman El Tayyib, he was my mentor. I stayed with him for over 38 years. When you are talking about the export and import, I didn't learn it from the university. I learned it from Alhaji Usman El Tayyib being my mentor. Remember, he's the founder of the Nico Suite since 1944. He's the founder of Ribera Biscuits 1982. He's the founder of Global Scientific and Laboratory Equipment 1952. He's equally the founder of Fata Tannery, Pharma Oils, Lookout Classic, and the Hupawa General Enterprises. So we learn from him. He's a versatile commodity broker. He's an Islamic scholar. He's equally Islamic books publisher in Kano. He entered Kano since 1919, that is before colonial era. So he has contributed immensely for the development of Kano economy as whole. Actually, regarding the export and import, I started doing an export since 1987. So I learned it from him. I was trained by Alhaji Usman El Tayyib. I learned it using the portion of container, or not even container, deck inside the container among the family businesses. So Alhamdulillah, in terms of export and import, I learned a lot. Manufacturing, I learned a lot in the sense that he established over 5 companies together with us while we are carrying in his own cars. So first of all, I will thank God for standing before you, presenting these very important issues, challenges of export, finished goods, and the importing the raw material in Nigeria. These two words, import and export, is regarded as the backbone of every economy, because in every economy, you either import or export. In this letter or in this presentation also, we are going to look at the definition of import and export, importance, Nigeria's export import capacity and global trend, key consideration in export and import, step involved in exporting, parties involved in import and export, and some other issues, cost and pre-shipment document and their own purposes, and then effects on of the pandemic on import and export, and other general issues or challenges associated with import and export, solution and some of the recommendations to the stakeholders. Basically, this paper is not presented based on academic research. It's based on my own practical work or day-to-day activities we are doing in export business, as well as the other information we generated from the experienced people, those who are into the export business presently. Exporting process. Export is a process, or when you take it literal meaning, export is just a process of moving goods or services from one geographical location to one country to another. The same thing when you come to import, is either by importing raw material from one country to another, or services. The importance of this business is very key in the survival of any economy in this world. Access, export business, it will give you access to more consumers and businesses. It increases your sales, and everybody knows that by the way you are increasing your sales, you are indirectly diluting your variable and fixed costs. Thereby, you are making the good and the services produced in that particular country to become very competitive. It also gives you the economic scales due to the volume, because everybody knows that the cost of producing one bag, it's not going to be the same of cost of producing 1,000 bags. So by expanding into export, indirectly, you are increasing your sales, and you are also creating the goods and the services produced in that particular country to become more competitive in terms of price. Next one is diversifying the market opportunity. Let me give you an example. When I started my own single-handedly rice mill with a capacity of 60 tons per day, Nigeria, we are consuming parboiled rice. Our neighboring countries, their own setup is French colony countries. So they are not using a parboiled rice, they are eating white rice. For me, it became very easier and cheaper to produce a white rice and process and push it to the Niger and Chad and part of Cameroon. So, and thereby creating and thereby generating forex, because CFA is more stronger than Naira. So export, it gives a company or it gives the nation diversify their own opportunity, thereby creating the market as well as generating the forex. It also expanding the life cycle of the matured product. Like now, I'm exporting to Niger white rice, generating dollar. It increased the profit inflow as well as the foreign exchange. It also provides a global competitive and enhanced domestic competitiveness. Of course, by importation and importation, take example, the new business that emerged in Kano furniture. As a result of importing the furniture from China, most of these boys, they start imitating what is getting from the China. So the kind of the furniture they are producing now, if you see, is almost as good as the Chinese product. And in terms of quality, very qualitative. So importation, this one gives them opportunity to reshape their idea of understanding what is moving in the market, gain the global market share. Export and import, it also improve in the market share, as we all explained earlier on. It compensates for seasonal demanding. Let me give you an example for me that understand the rainfall characteristics on some of African countries, because I do export the sesame seed to Turkey, to Germany, some of the agri-commodity to Mexico. In Nigeria here, we have the calendar of our rainfall. So I know the harvesting season in Nigeria. I equally know the harvesting season in Gambia, Burkina, as well as Ethiopia, because I export sometimes to Ethiopia. So I know when the Taraba sesame seed is harvesting, I know when Benue is harvesting, I know all these things is harvesting. So your ability to mitigate all this seasonal product, it also mitigates or create another compensate you for seasonal demand. For instance, for Kano, demand is around this time. If you go for other country, it's around January. If you go for another thing, it's around. So the whole calendar will become so in product or in market. Create a potential for company expansions. During the low season, you can move to another country. This is their peak season. So you can get more funds to go for expansions. Sales excess product capacity, which I have already explained it before. It also, we are moving also to benefit on import that I will say. Import is bring about the existing product to the local economy development and enhance the reducing the cost. It also enhances the existence in our industry. It improves the quality of domestic product by seeing the imitation, whatever you have taken it. Access to the regional inclusive resources. It also enhance and increase the capacity for our local industry. We have already seen some charts for Nigerian export capacity to India and Ghana, United States. So you can look at our export in dollar is 53. Number of the product is only 434. Number of partners is 111. So if you correlate the import and export, most of the economics they are regarding the export as an addition because we are bringing the forex into the circular flow of the income, while import is subtraction because you are paying or you are exporting, you are value addition as well as your employment to another countries. Key consideration in the export and import business. Number one, you need to have human resources, the capacity of personnel to handle the extra demand associated with the exporting. Senior management committed to the exporting. This one in terms of knowledge, hardworking, dedication, focus on what they are also doing. Efficient ways of responding quickly to the customer inquiries. We are in Nigeria, we are dealing with the various potential and the existing customers. Those people, they are very acquainted in terms of even the time they will call you and the way you answered your phone to them. So number one, ethical code of conduct and governing the telephone answering, that one also give you the ability to even win the order. The way you answer them, knowledge of your knowledge on commodity is very, very important because first interaction is the key. The way they call you, you have answered them, you understand their culture, background. Indians, there is a way that you will answer his call. For Turkish guy, for American guy, they consider all those skills in answering in taking decision to even transact with you. Personnel, well-trained personnel with the culturally sensitive marketing skills. Like I told you, if you are dealing with the Arabs, first thing when you say hello, it's not hello, assalamu alaikum. If you go to Turkish, it's different. If you go to Germany, it's different ways. And then financial resources. You need to obtain enough capital or line of credit for you to produce your goods and services. Secondly, you need to understand the farmer's pattern in even purchasing or technical knowledge in purchasing these goods and services. For instance, now when we are in northern Nigeria, we are in such kind of the location where most of our markets are displaced. So the techniques or the approach that you will do in southern Kaduna to secure this goods and services or this agri product is entirely different approach you are going to do in Katsina, Zamfara, as well as other locations in Nigeria. So you need to obtain enough capital. You need to understand the norms, culture, and values in dealing with this product. Next thing, you need to understand the risks as well as mitigants in handling this product. For instance, risks and mitigants related to each and every person, each and every type of product is entirely different. Let me give you an example. I used to export the ginger from southern Kaduna to India, part of southern India or northern India. But the risks you need to handle, you need to consider in handling logistics and procuring this thing is entirely different with the risks associated with the sesame seed. So this knowledge is very key in handling the issues. Another next thing to consider is key consideration in export and import. Legal resources. You need to find the people to advise you on the legal and tax implications on exports. Of course, we are experiencing the problem of multiple taxations and here and there. From Kano, for instance, you are delivering goods to Lagos. You need to pay multiple taxation just on transportation. This local government will bring their gate and charge the next one. So you need to understand the legal resources governing the entire the environment. And also you need to also consider the tax implications. Ensure protection in your intellectual property. You also need to consider the competitiveness. That is all those multinational companies that are coming into the country. You need to consider their way of buying, their way of selling, the way they secure this thing, because if not, they will easily quit you into the business. The next slide is the export procedure. What are the steps involved in export? First of all, you need to identify the product in your own local area. Is this available? It's not just I'm in Kano, somebody looking for cocoa, I have to start sealing agreement with him. No, you need to identify the area. You need to identify the potentials of your area before you start signing contract. Because if you go ahead and sign this contract with your own foreign counterpart, you are binded. You must perform. Secondly, you need to identify a buyer capacity. The buyer, some of them are just acting as an agent, brokerage agent. So you need to identify, is he acting with you as a brokerage agent or he's acting with you as the main buyer? Identify the agency and ministries responsible to promote and guide the export business. In Nigeria, we thank God we have various ministries that are even fighting among themselves. So you need to identify which agencies that you need to or responsible for the promotion of your business. So because right from the beginning, it's from those this aspect you succeed or you fail for filling your contract with the rest of the world. Identify also the document involved in export business. You need to understand also carefully the document that you need to involve, because some of the document is going to be generated by your agent, clearing agent, while some of the document you are the one to process them. Identify the reliable logistic company that will deliver your goods, because transportation in this aspect is very, very key. Something that's supposed to go to Lagos in 72 hours is taking you now a lot of 7 days. Things are likely to happen here. Either you get damaged, get lost, or a lot of things. In export business also, you need to identify the mode of payment. Is this you are filing the payment in form of LC, that is irrevocable letter of credit, in form of BC, bills for collections? Are you filing, if I say LC now, it's as good as bank is coming. That is the letter of credit. By the time you generated the necessary shipping document, you hand over the document to your bank. The recipient, the last customer will make sure he effected the payment before he gets the final document to him. So there is intermediary bank, corresponding bank who will facilitate all these things. This is the safest and the most acceptable ways of doing international trade. There is also BC. When we say BC, bills for collection, is a kind of synergy or understanding between you and your own supplier. So you are dealing with him like me. I file a lot of my own transaction using bills for collection because I inherited this customer. I will send the sesame seed to Turkey, to Saudi Arabia, they will sell, they will later credit it to me. So this is the kind of transaction you do based on trust basis. But still, the corresponding bank has to get undertaken later from the last person to make sure that he will sell and remitted the goods to you. Cash against shipping document, which is normally now due against the FOB. By the time you generated or your shipping agent, he generated the document, he hand over to the bank, definitely your money will come in. Document trade by barter. When I'm bringing my machineries, I secure because of the forest crisis, I secure all these machineries using the trade by barter. I will send the sesame seed, they will sell it, convert the money into dollar, and then they will send machinery into me. This one saved me a lot in terms of the dollar price and etc. Identify the way in handling and procuring the commodities export. For instance, even the way we are filing this in from our market, from our own container, from our own shipping line, you need to identify it. How are they going to do it? For instance, I'm exporting the sesame seed to Mexico. They ask for flour. I file flour, but in the process of uploading, loading, they are even using the same product as a ladder. So before it reached to the final destination, the good became broke. So when they open it, the issues start coming up. We ask for flour while you send a shipment for us. While when the goods leaving my warehouse, I know it's a flour, I have done it. So when the crisis start emanating, we call custom, we call all the agencies involved, we identify the actual and best way of handling these commodities, because it involves a physical and laboratory tests before you take it. Most of the commodities that we are selling outside Nigeria, they undergo into various parameters, scientific and physical inspections. This involves laboratory tests to identify the moisture content, because when you are doing, they will say the moisture content should not exceed so matter. So you need to take your product to the agencies that are responsible to determine the moisture content. Foreign matters, add value, purity, oil content, all these parameters you need to be taken into consideration. You can't do them alone, but there are the Abuja Commodity and Exchange Commission. They have all this laboratory. They are there for you in all different locations and the state capital. They can do it for you so that right from there, you will know the kind of the product you are dealing with. Because not just one product in the same country, they have all these characteristics. Sesame seed in Kano, it has more oil content than sesame seed in Bauchi. It has the less moisture content than sesame seed in Benue. So you need to employ the services or the expert for you to understand the kind of the product that you are dealing with.
Mr. Mohammed, you have less than 4 minutes. Can you quickly wrap? Yes.
Okay. Okay. So what are the here is the document involved in the export and distance. Before you start exporting this any kind of this, there are some of the agencies that you need to work with them. You must have some document issued by Export Promotion Council. They have export registration certificate. You also need your bank to give you automated, to fill automated Nigerian export proceed form. Commercial invoice, you are the one to generate it. Packing list, clean certificate of inspection, which is normally going to be used by your clearing agent. Single good declarations, you need to do it also. And the purpose and all this one is to inspect and certify the quality, quantity, and the price of the goods based on the Nigerian standard. It also ensures Nigerian exports conform to international standard. It also provides the statistical data and information to the Bureau of Statistics about the goods and services. And then we have post shipment document such as bill of lading, certificate of origin, certificate of quality, phytosanitary certificate to ascertain the quality of the goods, marine certificate, certificate of quality, clearance from department, and which normally gotten from the custom, product quality and certifications, and then effects on pandemic. During the pandemic time, definitely everybody knows that we will witness some scarcity of commodity due to the restriction and movement of goods and services, slow of sourcing the input from from our gate as a result of the lockdown. It to reduce the capacity from the off-takers because they are not being able to move from one region to another. Logistic issue due to the movement restrictions within and outside the country. Control means of payment such as forex crunch to $5,000 only. Multiple exchange rates. Challenges associated with the exports. We have extortion, illegal sundry charges of the seaport and airport, lack of capacity of the promoters due to the poor knowledge on trade, scarcity of container for export, low productivity and quality, high rate of product rejections in foreign market due to our lack of our knowledge in handling, sourcing, procuring the goods and services, absence of agencies in Nigeria such as halal certification body, because most of the country or many countries that receive this good now, they are becoming full halal compliance nations like Thailand, UK, Turkey, UAE. They became full halal certification country. And unfortunately enough, Nigeria, we don't have halal certification body. So in the near future, we cannot be able to export into this country because they have fully become halal certification compliance nation. Poor level awareness and the lack of proper documentation, poor synergy between government agencies, custom authority, SON, CAC, FIRS, and all these kind of government agencies. Challenges associated with this in limited infrastructural development. Like for instance, if you go to Zamfara, in the same market, you will buy the same thing. The next market, the price will be very different because the infrastructural deficit in terms of road, network, insecurity, instability as the region where commodity are sourced. It happens, Yobe, Maiduguri, they are largest producer in sesame seeds that I play with, but due to the insecurity, the commodity, sourcing the commodity is not as easy as before. National trade policy, weak foreign currency reserve, inflation on the cost of commodity, high cost of goods and services, low job commitment and managerial attitude to duties, long cash conversion cycle. Last year, Port Authority, they have started renovation and rehabilitation of Port Authority. It takes me 6 months for me to export only 10 containers, while averagely before the commencement of renovation, I used to export 180, 90. So this one has already automatically prolonged the cash conversion cycle of my businesses, which I have to stop it and start doing local turnover to the major and multinational company. Cultural difference, corruption at international level, pro forma invoice fraud, 30% deposit scam, whatever, all these affect our businesses. Solutions, various solutions it has been recommended, secure a specialized training on export business, export management, this from Fidelity Bank, advocacy to shipping lines to patronize provision of export containers for the return and whatever. The government use its regional strengths on board the stakeholders, improve synergy between government agencies in line with the ease of doing businesses. Not like if I process this document from the NAFDAC, some they say, no, NAFDAC is only recognized within Nigeria, you have to undergo into SONCAP, a lot of things before. Because in Ethiopia, when I enter, I just meet one desk one-stop investment desks at their airport. I register CAC, I register SunCab, NAFDAC in the same desk, even everything in the same desk. While in Nigeria, you need to go to CAC, you need to go to NAFDAC, you need to go to export for investment, export solution, whatever. You need to go to SunCab, you need to go export inspection, you need to go export promotion. So in Ethiopia, we just register under one umbrella. Adopt a single forex window, introduce produce board to regulate pricing and prevent hoarding in order to simplify the process. Ensure the workforce are well trained and motivated to carry out the duty. Development of specialized bank like BOI for the exporters, Bank of Nexim Bank, to keep the cycle, make sure that the cycle is going. Recommendations: aggressively sensitize the export and exporters on Africa Continental Free Trade Agreement. Government should make sure that we have transparent trade facilitation for export, improve trade procedure, cross-border and corridor development, combined commitment by Africa governments, reduce the cost of logistics, because as at now we don't have the standard cost of logistics. Yesterday we paid 500 from Kano to Lagos. Today, when they are calling me now, they are telling me it's 720, 500, 650. So we don't have this standard cost of transportation. Conversion of import cargo to African destination port, create a balanced two-directional volume flows. Government should also invest in infrastructure such as seaport, railway, road, dry port, and inland dry container. Thank you very much for listening.
Thank you very much, Mr. Muhammad Bello Sani. You have done your presentation is like the A to Z of export and import, and I'm sure that those on this call already have a grasp of what it means to be able to export, what they need to do. One thing that we have taken away from your presentation is the importance of training, the importance of research and mentoring. You know, mentoring is a major factor when SMEs want to go into export and import, that you have made clear, and understanding the market. I'm sure everybody here will agree with me that those 4 points, they're very important, and you've emphasized it, and you now, I mean, you've broken it down. I'm sure your presentation, you send it to us so that we can also share with all the participants. So, you know, they can have a copy of this lovely presentation. Thank you very much. And I'm sure that our management that are on this call, members that are on this call, would also work with government agencies to ensure to handhold each other to ensure that all the challenges are also addressed. But one thing about this thing, the one-stop shop that the federal government introduced recently, I'm sure as soon as it takes off in all the states, all these issues of going to different parastatals to agencies to register will become a thing of the past. Thank you very much, sir. After that,
Hadiza, let me also use this opportunity to thank Alhaji Muhammad Bello Sani. You've done us well. We are truly grateful. It shows mastery of what you are doing. And we want to appeal to you to please join our team in BOI in serving as a mentor too, because we are working on that to make sure that those that are growing in a particular market and a particular product will meet experts that have been in that area so that they can be properly guided. We also want to appeal to you, if you don't mind, to please join our team of facilitators for our usual regional programs for both the staff and the customers of the bank. It's an appeal, and we know with this knowledge you really want to share with us. We'll be inviting you to join us as a facilitator when we have our programs. And then we will also want to introduce some young entrepreneurs to you at a later time so that they can also be properly guided. Once again, thank you very much, sir. We appreciate your presentation. We appreciate your support. Thank you, sir. Let me also use this opportunity to welcome Mr. Okonkwo Obadigbo. Mr. Obadigbo was an executive director in BOI. Actually, 16 years ago, he was part of the team that interviewed me to join BOI. He has consistently been with us, and he has joined. He's part of the participants today. Mr. Okonkwo, thank you very much for the support, and we urge you to continue to support us. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much, sir. We'd just like to also take the third video presentation. This one is a customer of the bank in BOI, a customer of the bank based in Abuja. We're talking about MD CEO of Banrut rules. The video to be played now is that of the MD CEO of Banrut rules, who is also going to be telling us more about her experiences. Over to you, Faiza.
Bank of Industry loan was disbursed to us in, I think, 2013, and mainly for the purpose of upgrading our machines. At the time, the machines we were using weren't giving us the kind of production capacity that we needed. We had reached a certain number of states, and we needed to increase our presence, and the machines we were using at the time couldn't take us further. So we needed to go to BOI for the loan, and that was how we got the first tranche of loans from BOI. And yeah, pretty much just to upgrade our machines and also to increase our production capacity. It gave us the room to be able to employ more hands. You know, of course, where you're doing maybe a minimum of 10,000 bundles of a particular product, and you're now having to have over 50,000, 60,000 bundles of that same product. It just, you know, automatically means that you have to increase the hands on the production floor. So it did not only improve our production capacity, it also gave us room to employ more hands. Our staff strength at the beginning was about 50 or 40 something thereabouts. Today, as we stand, we have over 300 people working in the company. And it's also due to the fact that our machines are upgraded, our products have gained more presence in the country, and automatically just increased us in every area, so to speak. Also, the loan has also helped us be able to present our product the way it should be presented. Of course, our materials are of superior quality, but we needed machines that will present the product the way it is really. What I would say to aspiring entrepreneurs or to entrepreneurs that want to go to BOI, from my own experience, BOI is the best choice. They are friendly. They are understanding, very much understanding organization. This is the truth, this is what I've experienced. I'll give an instance. So in 2016, when I think the first recession that happened after the new government took over in 2016, of course, dollar rate went up, Naira was devalued. So overnight we went from 170, or is it 170 to $1 to about 360. That affected us, and it depleted our funds, it depleted our capital. And the following year we made losses. So the books were not looking good, right? But we went to BOI. We had enough evidence to show this is the reason why the situation is like this. And we need more funds to be injected into the business. And BOI did. So they were able to, because we're able to defend it. So for any entrepreneur, your books have to be clean. You have to, it has to be tidy. Before you take your containers out of the port, it's a task. It's an Herculean task. Now imagine taking your container into the port before you can ship out. Our products are space consuming. So let's take for it. Let me give you real figures. Now, a truckload of tissue papers maximum would take maybe 1,500 bags of tissue papers. Maximum, maybe 1,500 bags of tissue paper. Now, 1,500 bags, I can take to Enugu, I can take to Aba, I can take to Port Harcourt, take to Sokoto, to Maiduguri, and I'm home and dry, I'm fine, because I've got my distributors there. the same amount is going to cost, the same amount I'm going to charge the distributor in Sokoto, the same amount I'll charge someone in Ghana. So if I have to go through pain to take that same quantity out of Nigeria, how much do I really want to sell it? It's tissue paper, remember. And I'm sure that the other African countries have producers of tissue paper of some sort. You can't be the only one. You know, there must be that they're using a particular product. We've done our research. They're using a particular product before yours came in. You know the price that they are charging because we've done our research to find out what is the going price for our kind of product in other African countries. And I realized that with the Herculean task of how I'm going to get the container out of the port in Nigeria, I'm already spent out. So how much do I want to charge them in Ghana, in Rwanda, or any other African country? How much will I really make it? Or are you going to go there and at the end of the day, you're left with begging people to pick your product? So for me, and also for Banrut, we're sticking to the Nigerian market.
Thank you very much. From Abuja, we're taking you to Kano, where we'll be playing a video by Marshall Biscuits. And Marshall Biscuits is based in Kano, is also an SME supported by the Bank of Industry.
From the areas that I think we should pay more attention is the infrastructural deficit in Nigeria. Let me give you an example. In Nigeria, the volume of business that we have, that is the import and export, is 87/13. 87% of all what we have import translate to 87, while export is only 13%. This is a very, very serious issue. This is worrisome, and in fact, a lot has to be done to tackle this. We have infrastructural deficit. Like I earlier said, import and export. We import 87 and we export only 30%. This is so bad. Our export for Nigeria to participate and to make a meaningful game, we have to look at a situation whereby we reverse the trend. Reversing that trend means we have to see how we export 80% while we import 20%. My reason of saying that is simply because the raw materials are in abundance. We have everything that it takes to compete with any other nation globally. But due to the infrastructural deficit, we cannot move forward. Let me give you an example. When you are into manufacturing, whichever sector you are, you spend 7 to 9% of your expenditure on energy. This 7% that we are spending on energy, other countries are spending 1 to 2%. That means we are wasting resources. In food and beverage industry, they are no longer using fossil fuel or electricity. They are using gas technology. The closest you can have gas from here, where I am now, is about 600 kilometers. Where other countries that I've been to, there is electricity, water, sewage, and gas reticulation within all the industrial park. All what they need to do is just to connect a pipe and a nipple and get all what they need for their production. While in my own case, it takes them a matter of maximum of 30 seconds to switch gas to their burners. While for me, I need 7 days to transport this gas. How do you expect me to compete with Egypt, South Africa, or Ethiopia? Another thing is, it's now take us at least 5 to 6 days to get our goods from Lagos, Apapa to Kano at almost 800,000 naira. The other countries, they have their rail lines and they spend less than 10% to convey the same quantity, the same weight of raw materials from their port or from the producers to their factory doorstep. As a matter of urgency, needs to give support for agencies like the Bank of Industry, other agencies that will quickly stimulate the economy by giving direct intervention. This is what we need.
Indeed, and that's what you will get. That's why the Bank of Industry is holding this, for everybody to come together to understand what the challenges are so that solutions can be preferred. Before we move on, please, I would like to recognize Mr. Ayobajomo, who is the treasurer at the Bank of Industry, and also Mr. Obaro Osah, who is the divisional head SME-South, and also the chairman of this SME forum that we're holding today. I'd like to quickly hand over to Ogo to continue this session, but please, we have a question and answer session right after all the presentations. We don't want to break and take question and answers, you know, so that we can quickly move on. But if you have your questions, just type them out in the chat box. We'll definitely attend to all your questions before we leave today. It's an interactive session, so be sure that we have you. Over to you, Ogo.
Thank you, Hadiza. It's been interesting so far, and I hope we are all getting value for our time with Bank of Industry SME Directorate. We'll go straight into the next segment, and this one is addressing the challenges and opportunities of adopting e-commerce and digital marketing in advertising our products, marketing our products, and actually delivering our products to our customers. And for this segment, we have two people talking to us, a practitioner who is already embraced digital e-commerce, and then somebody who will talk to us on how to deploy digital marketing and use it effectively in growing our business, sustaining it, and excelling. We're going to have first to talk to us is Oluremi Martins of Natural Girl Wigs. Oluremi, please, you have the floor. After you, we're going to talk about what BOI is already doing to help our female or women promoted businesses in the bank to help them also move their businesses to the next level. Oluremi Martins, please.
Yeah, I just want to confirm if you can hear me.
Yes, we can hear you, Oluremi.
Okay, thank you very much. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and Saz and Maz. My name is Oluremi Martins. I'm the founder of Natural Girl Wigs, as well as an e-commerce consultant. My presentation was supposed to, I don't know if I should wait for my presentation to be spotlighted, or I should just go ahead to share my screen.
Okay, if you can share your screen, go ahead.
Okay.
Otherwise, are you ready for her? Otherwise, I think it'll be better so you can move it as you like.
Yeah, can you see my screen now?
Yes, we can see it. Thank you.
All right, thank you. So today I'm going to be talking about e-commerce and digital marketing, the challenges and opportunities post-pandemic. So a brief intro into my business. We provide textured hair extensions, so natural looking extensions that blend with, you know, the texture for Black women, so like Afro kinky styles, kinky curly styles, just things that look like Black women hair, right? And we started a few years ago, and we were able to look at the market and the business and say, Why limit ourselves to Nigeria or to Africa when there are Black women all over the world who desire the kind of products that we sell and who we can actually reach via selling online? So one of the things I'm going to be highlighting and spotlighting in this conversation is how the internet has created a platform for us as businesses, especially if you're a small business, right? The internet has provided a platform for you whereby there's no barrier to entry, or there's very little barrier to entry. And what this means is that you are able to reach people, your target audience, people who you want to sell to in different countries, irrespective of your own location. Yes, this might be limited based on the kind of business that you're doing, the kind of maybe government restrictions and government policies in different countries. But ultimately, as a small business, you can look at your product and say, how can I scale this to the international market? And what platforms, what mediums, what strategies can I deploy to do this? So I'm going to be speaking on the challenges and opportunities, adoption of e-commerce and digital marketing. I'll be talking about why e-commerce and digital marketing, common challenges and how to navigate them, the opportunities for Nigerian SMEs, post-pandemic e-commerce trends, and the defensible e-commerce success toolkit. Why e-commerce and digital marketing? As I've explained previously, the internet, right? The internet is a global space. Before people started selling on the internet, you would have to actually go physically to people, or you'd have to find out by someone. But now with phone in our hands and social platforms and even Google, people search things and they find businesses, and if that business is shipping to them, or if that business has an arrangement in which they can easily access them in their location, they're able to do that. So the internet has given and has enabled businesses like never before to be able to reach people everywhere. And even if we're not even speaking about the international market, we're speaking about locally. Right now in Nigeria, especially for millennials and Generation Z, more people are shopping online. Like, people actually prefer to buy things online than to actually go to physical stores. Online businesses are able to create direct to consumer brands in terms of like their packaging, their customer service, their experience that makes people just want to buy online. And there's also the convenience aspect of it. So if you're a small business and you're not positioning yourself for this online space, then you're leaving money on the table. So it's very important for you to see why the need for e-commerce. There are a lot of businesses that continue to overlook online space because they feel like, oh, our customers will always buy in stores. We really don't need it, right? So for example, there are two ways in which you can leverage e-commerce as a business. If you have a business where most people will buy you in stores, maybe you're selling consumer products that people would typically buy in stores, you can also use the online space to create like very good branding for yourself, so that when you're on shelves, people want to pick you amongst the others. Like, why should people pick you? I was listening to a speaker the other time, and because of how commodity their product is, I was wondering, oh, why did this person go into this business? Because it's a bit saturated. But one of the things that you having a presence online and you embracing digital marketing and e-commerce can do for you is that people have you on the top of their mind. Even if people do not buy milk or buy all these other products online, because they're consistently doing campaigns, they're constantly doing promotions that people can see online, it makes sense that people pick them and people choose them amongst the sea of other brands. And also target audience. More than ever before, you have the opportunity as a business online to actually target the kind of people who are looking for your product. I'm going to give an example of my own business. So one of the things that we realized is that the way customers, so when women are looking for like hairstyles, and I'm speaking about women who are young like me, when they're looking for hairstyles to do or looking for something that is wrong with their hair, the first thing they do is to go on Google and to search, the problems, or where can I find this? Where do I, solve this for myself? So we took advantage of that, and SEO is one of the biggest channels for us. By SEO, I mean search engine optimization. And what we do with this is that we constantly create content that we know that people who are our target audience are going to be looking for, right? So because they find this content online, it leads them to our website. And when they come on our website, they see the products that we're selling. Because of the it makes sense that person might want to buy a product. So when they come to our website and find the information that they're looking for, a lot of times they also browse to our website and buy one of two things. And even if they do not buy, we have like an email system or a quiz system to collect their emails and we can target them later. So one of the very good opportunities and very unique opportunity with the internet is that you can go directly after your customer. That is what selling offline doesn't really offer you. Yes, you can be in stores where your customers are, but how do you exactly target your customer? The traditional way to do this is by maybe your design, you have a salesperson in store, but with online mediums, you can actually target the kind of people that you are looking for to buy your products. And even with advertising, you can optimize for your customers to actually find you instead of you chasing after your customer. So when we combine internet, the opportunity that the internet has given us, with the fact that the internet and e-commerce especially allows you to optimize yourself to find your kind of customers, then you can see why it is very relevant to sales. Some of the very traditional businesses that have leveraged, e-commerce is Domino's. Right now, according to the not many companies that sell food have actually looked at the online space and say, you know what, how can we take advantage of this and use it for ourselves? So for any kind of business that you're in, you can actually take advantage of the internet. Either you're selling there or you're using it to create branding for your business. So I'll be moving to the common challenges. In as much as the internet has given us the opportunity to assess people, to sell to people, to promote to people, the common challenges are sort of like constant. And the first one is low trust, right? So because of our behavior as humans, when you go online and see a business, you're wondering, why should I trust this person? Why should I pay them? Especially because now, as an e-commerce business, you really do not want to be doing pay on delivery. Yes, some people do it, but that's because they're really, really trying to get people to trust them. That is a way. Many online customers have experienced false advertising. I'm sorry, can you guys hear me? I can see that my internet is a bit unstable.
We are hearing you. Fire on.
Okay, thank you. So I'm going to be talking about how to navigate them. Many online customers have experienced false advertising. So you want to put your reviews and visual testimonials at the forefront of your customer. When people come to maybe your Facebook page, or people come to your Facebook page, or they come to your Instagram page, or even your website, how do you prove to them that you're a real business? One of the very constant way to do this is by putting your customers in front of them, and not faceless customers, people who have actually used your product and they're saying, oh, I bought from this business and they delivered to me on time. So one of the things that people want to look out for when they're looking at reviews, because people talk about you posting your reviews on social media, but what kind of reviews actually get people to trust you? It includes people talking about your time, right? So what is the time frame in which you deliver your product? Does your product look exactly the way it looks online? You're doing your e-commerce or your digital marketing, so that people can see that you are trusted. You also don't want to have, delete your bad reviews or your not so good reviews, because people are also wondering, how genuine is this person? How can I trust that this person is not just getting their friends to review? So sometimes customers can say, oh, maybe the delivery man, called me multiple times, but I was still able to get the product and it was nice. So those are the kind of reviews that you still want to include, even though they are not perfect, you still want to include them. One of the ways to also gain trust as a business, especially when you're new in this space, is to collaborate with other businesses. This especially worked so much for me when we started, because one of the things that I did was that even if I wasn't collaborating with businesses that sell what I do, but I was collaborating with businesses that are adjacent to mine. And what I mean by that is that because we sell hair products, we're collaborating with beauty businesses. So those beauty businesses, obviously their customers also want to purchase hair as well. So that brings them to us, and it makes them trust us, because like, okay, if the business I already buy from is collaborating with these people, then I can trust them. And the ways for you to do collaborations, you can do marketing collaborations, especially as a business that is just starting, to gain trust. And then there's cyber security as well. Small businesses in the e-commerce space need to own policies, backup, and media outside of online media to create a solid cyber security and Plan B framework for the organization. What I mean by this is that, number one, with the fact that we are all online, we are also exposed to many attacks that can happen to us. And if customers are giving you their information, how are you protecting those customers from being, messaged by other people, from being agged, how are you just protecting them from exposure that they shouldn't have? So as a business, you want to look at how you can protect your customers' data. You want to ensure that you're not giving every one of your staff just access to your customers, because that's another area that you have to be really concerned with, so that people who are working in your team that do not necessarily have to have your customer details are not going to call them and harassing them and things like that. You also want to ensure that you have owned media. So what I mean by owned media is that a lot of businesses that sell online focus so much on platforms that are owned by social media platforms. So like Instagram, like Facebook, like Twitter. But as a business, you want to ensure that you have your customers' data. You want to ensure that you have a website that you own that customers can go and purchase from. And I know that in the Nigerian space, people say that, oh, people don't really like to shop on websites, but that is changing. And as someone that consults for like other e-commerce businesses and as my own business, I've seen that Nigerians are consistently shopping online like never before. And even if people are not really shopping that much online, you want to ensure that you have it so that, for emergency purposes and also for data purposes. I wouldn't really go into much of advertising, but one of the best ways for you to advertise is for you to have your own website so that Facebook or Google is able to help you collect information about your customers so that they are able to help you advertise to them better. So you want to look at, even if you're starting small and you don't have your website later, it should definitely be in your plans, because that is a better way for you to own your customer data, for you to be able to advertise to them, and for you to protect yourself as a business. Then there's product differentiation as well. Because everyone, not everyone, but because a lot of people are selling online these days, they are selling the same things. As a business, there's going to be competition online. Your competition is probably using the kind of language that you're using to, address your customers as well. So you want to ensure that you are doing a lot of research in your industry and looking at how you can stand out. One of the ways for you to be able to do that is that you are keeping your products competitive when it comes to pricing and features. And that doesn't mean that you should underprice yourself. You can price yourself as valued as your products are. One thing about the e-commerce space is that people like convenience, people like value. So if you're giving people convenience of, oh, when I tell you you get your package, you get it, what other added bonus are you offering to your customers? So if you're telling them that, oh, when you buy our products, we just don't leave you there. We give you value in terms of like how to use this product, how to get the most out of it. So when you go a step higher, it helps you to like really retain customers and really keep them. A great way to start is to always focus on your brand value, clear technical superiority, and product benefits. So if everybody is selling mugs, what are you identifying as what makes your own mug stand out? Like, is your mug is it very prone to breakage? Things like that. So you need to be able to differentiate your product in the online space, and that's going to attract customers to you. Opportunities in the e-commerce space for Nigerian SMEs, right? Cheap advertising. As I've said, this is the first time in the history of marketing where both small businesses and big businesses have the same tools to market. It is cheaper. It is anybody, like literally you see very big brands on TikToks having their staff dance and everything. Everyone is trying to appeal to their consumers in the new form of marketing. So you as a small business living in your house somewhere in Kano, you also have access to those tools as well. So you have access to learn how to do Facebook ads. You have access to learn how to do content properly. You have access to learn how to use design with tools like Canva, where you can actually start designing for free. So those are one of the things that you can take advantage of. And the great thing about the internet is that you have your customers on the internet. Even people that sell houses on the internet as well. So you can position yourself with very cheap advertising, and that has never happened before. Right now in the US, the cost of advertising continues to increase, and that is one advantage that we still have here in Nigeria. In Nigeria right now, depending on the cost of your goods, you can actually acquire customers for as cheap as 300 naira. Right? While in the US, the average cost of acquiring customers, if we convert it, is about 5,000 naira, So you want to ensure that you're taking advantage of cheap marketing, from email marketing to like Facebook ads, which are opportunities that businesses in the e-commerce space have that other, other forms of businesses do not have. And there's also the global diaspora market. As a Nigerian right now, it's very, very cool to be Nigerian. We have Nigerian artists, the mobile industry, our fashion brands, doing us very proud. So people in the diaspora, whether like Africans in diaspora in all these other countries, they want to experience something about Nigeria or Africa. So as a Nigerian business, you have the opportunity to reach these people through the e-commerce space. Through digital marketing, you can reach them, which is one of the examples I made for my business previously, where I said that we use SEO, which is Google, to acquire customers. Many of our customers find us first on Google, and we're then able to convert that relationship into our social media platforms, into our email marketing strategy, and all of that. So there's that access to global diaspora markets, especially if you're a business in the beauty, in the fashion, and also even in the food space. I know many businesses in Nigeria now who are doing like packaged plantain chips and things like that, who are selling in stores in the US. So more than ever before, the internet allows you to be able to do that. The third opportunity I'll be speaking about is partnerships. So I explained before how you, as a business, you can collaborate with people to gain trust. But one of the ways you can also do partnerships is by partnering with actual bigger brands. So as I've said, many big brands are also trying to get hand of social media. They're trying to do things that are hot. So if you have a good promotion, a good campaign that you want to do for your business, you are able to like reach out to other businesses who are even bigger than you and tell them that, oh, this is how I think we can collaborate. And that's an opportunity that you would ordinarily not get outside of the online space. There's no point of you going through, several proposals and trying to get people to work with you. But you can actually work with people online by just having ideas that you think will be beneficial to them, which is like maybe getting them engagements, getting them something that their audience will find fun. So one very good example I have is a brand that sells hair coloring products. When they started, my business was already like established, and because they promised us and say, oh, we have a lot of customers who are between the ages of like 16 to 19, and they were able to show us that data. This is how we can collaborate that it's beneficial to you. And knowing myself that is a demographic that is important to my business, we collaborated with them and it was beneficial. And they added about 5,000 followers on their Instagram after we did that campaign. For them, that's a big deal, but it was also beneficial to me. So these are the opportunities that the online space has for small businesses, and I want us to all take advantage of it. I'm going to be going very quickly to post-pandemic e-commerce trends, because the theme of this event is about post-pandemic strategies. I would like to talk about e-commerce trends in the post-pandemic world. Native content. What I mean by native content is that when many people think of social media, especially businesses who are just trying to get into the space, they think, oh, we need to get someone to help us do our video production. We need to hire someone to help us create content. We need to do this. One of the things that the pandemic actually, crushed and changed is how on social media right now, people don't expect you, people don't even want you to come and show up too prepared or too formal. You can just, sit on a table and talk to people. One of the businesses big businesses actually that I saw really do that well was the UBA group. During the pandemic, the CEO was really like out there, and it was just like very casual and talking to people. And they were actually able to sort of like use that to get some sort of like brand recognition. And even for my business as well, we did challenges where we just told people to make a video of yourself in your house styling your hair. So more than ever before, the barrier to entry is even lower because people don't want too much from you. We all know that everybody's working from their house, people are doing things differently. So as a small business, that means that you don't have to have so much. You can just have your phone camera, get good lighting from the sun, and speak to your customers. You don't even have to dance. You can just start educating people about how to live differently or live better with your product. So native content has transformed the way the internet is used. if you go on TikTok right now, you see businesses just making fun videos and selling their product with it. So even small and big businesses are able to do it. So as an SME, you have no excuse not to use the internet to sell your product anymore, because we don't want perfection from you. We just want you to do something that is native to social media, which is doing simple things. Then there's also social consciousness. One of the things that the pandemic era brought is that many people are more conscious than ever before. And because of the series of events that happened during the pandemic, which is, the protest, and not just in Nigeria, but across places, people are socially conscious about the kind of businesses that they buy from. So people want to know, they are looking at you as a business and saying, where do you stand on social issues? How do you support events that have to do with women? How do you speak out when the youth are speaking? So as a business, even if you do not want to politicize yourself, you need to be very careful with your public relations, how you are speaking, how you are responding to customer sensitivity during this era. So that's something that you want to, and be very keen about. Looking through social...
Hello, Remy. Sorry to interject, but you have just 1 minute to round off, please.
Okay, thank you. So looking through social lens, 53% of respondents reported that they are more inclined to purchase from a business that supports inclusion, and customers want to know where their choosing brands stand on critical issues. I'm just going to go through the fact that with the post-pandemic era, people are also working more with micro-influencers. So you don't really need big people on social media with big numbers to work with you. It's okay to work with micro-influencers to promote your product, and also having an omni-channel strategy, right? So even if you are online as a business, you want to branch out and say, yes, we are online, but what if something happens online? Which is what I explained previously, and saying having a website, maybe partnering with with a physical retail store to just ensure that you are everywhere your customers are, and that gives you a better top of mind quality as a business. So I'll just wrap this up with this social media success toolkit. Is by having your own website, which is your store software. Make sure that you have a good web hosting tool. You're using design tools such as Canva. You're using analytic tools to know where your customers are coming from, the things that are relevant to them. Investing in research tools and also social commerce tools as well. So because I have to round up, I would go through the question and answer category. And if there's anyone that has any question for me, I would be answering them. Thank you so much for having me speak, and I really enjoyed this. Thank you.
Thank you, Oluremi Martins. A youth, you can see, who knows her stuff, her onions in this business. The Gen Z, you can't play, you can't touch them. Thank you so much. We're going straight in by Salem King. He's going to talk to us on content and strategies. Salem, you have 10 minutes, please. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much for having me here. I want to really appreciate Bank of Industry for the work you're doing and for finding a way to, inculcate digital marketing into the education of, the entire customer forum. This is very valuable. So I'm just going to share my screen. Today we're discussing primarily, just a second. Today we're discussing primarily post-pandemic strategies for MSME recovery, sustainability, and growth. And in this session, in the next 10 minutes, I'm speaking about challenges and opportunities in digital marketing. I'm going to keep it really short and simple. We won't really go into technicalities and specifics, but at the end of this session, you should know, how to, leverage social media, e-commerce, and digital marketing for your business. Remy Martins has dug in really deep into it. If you listen to everything she says, there's some of what she said that I just won't repeat for the purpose of, time and all that. So my name is Salem. I'm a content creator, influencer, social media influencer, content strategist, content developer, and I'm honored to be here. So what we're discussing, we're going to talk about the impact of the pandemic on micro and small and medium enterprises. And then I'm going to share with you opportunities for businesses with e-commerce and media. One thing I want to say right off the bat is, for us to remember that whatever it is we do, no matter what it is, whether you import rice or you export hair or you sell drinks, whatever it is, ultimately we're in the business of people before we're in the business of anything. Because whatever money you're going to make, whatever sale you're going to make, whatever followers you're going to build on social media, it's going to come from people, right? The money, the income, whatever will come from people. The problems you want to solve are problems that real people have. If you build a business around a problem that doesn't exist, you will never be profitable, because we're in the business of people before we're in the business of anything else, right? So the impact of the pandemic so far on small businesses, we've seen an accelerated economic downturn, which has affected businesses on a very large scale. So we've seen the economy as a whole has been affected, right? Because of how the way everything was just on a standstill, and then two, there's been a chronic decline in purchasing power of the average Nigerian. The average Nigerian, the things you could get with 1,000 naira, 6 months ago, you can't get as much as you could at that time. So it has definitely affected that. And number three, unfavorable effect on businesses and jobs, because people who run micro and small and medium businesses are mostly selling retail, right? And if the people who are supposed to buy from you, if their purchasing power is affected, that affects your business, that affects your bottom line automatically. So we've seen an effect at the highest level, the economy as a whole, and then we've seen an effect at the lowest level, people's purchasing power, and then that has now affected businesses in the middle. But like I said, ultimately, this is less of a talk about social media and more about how to relate to people using the connection that we now have via the internet. This forum right now would have had to been happy, if it was happening physically, it would be different than what's happening now. It's online. We're in different, I'm in Abuja, some people are in Lagos, some people are in Port Harcourt, Kano, Gombe, different parts of Nigeria, different parts of the world maybe, and we can have this. That's something that you should leverage for your business, because 20, 30 years ago, we did not have that. Everyone who would buy from you had to come to you physically, or you had to be exporting and paying a whole lot of money. But now we have this technology that allows us to be able to connect with people from anywhere, and we need to leverage it as much as possible. So we're going to talk about how to grow in spite of the new reality. First thing every business owner needs to do is first accept that it is the new normal. So stop waiting for things to go back to the way they were. It's probably not going to happen ever again. This is the new normal. This is the new world. This is how everything will be from now on. We were expecting to recover from 2020. We thought 2021 was the year when things would go back to normal, but we've seen that it did not go back to normal. This is the new normal. And a forum like this is happening online. That's how we know that a lot has changed from, the way life was in 2019. So as a business person, don't just, keep looking, don't talk about the good old days. They are gone. All you have now is today. Second thing is we need to be open to change. We need to be very, very open to change. So if you had a groundnut exportation business, for example, and you never went the route of social media, you never used email, you never did anything because you believed that, this is how it has always worked. Now is the time when you need to reimagine how you are approaching your business. Be very open to change. And number three, learn about digital marketing. As much as you can, learn about digital marketing. Go on Google, go on YouTube, attend courses. As a business person, this is so important, because every now and then I work in the social media industry. So every now and then I have, when I take on a new client, I hear them complaining, I hired this person, I told them to do this for me, they couldn't do it. Now, these are things that if you had done some of your homework, if you had studied about it ahead of time, you would know what you're looking for. And when it doesn't look like what you're looking for, you'd be able to, reject the person. But you need to learn about it so you know what you're doing, so you know who you're hiring, and how you want to navigate it, right? So learn about digital marketing as much as you can. Number four, this is something Remy also explored. Make sure that your business is not limited by geography. As much as you can, whatever your business is, you'll be surprised that there's someone in Brazil who needs your service. There's someone in Mexico. There's someone in Canada who needs your service. Now, in the year 2020, before the year 2020, I did not believe, because I work in the creative industry too, I did not believe that Nigerian talent would be able to compete globally. But during the pandemic, when nobody could move around, I saw a lot of people in the creative industry taking jobs that were being competed for globally, competing for jobs with Americans, with Australians, all over the world. And they were getting those jobs. And they were not getting paid less because they live in Nigeria. They were getting paid their full value, getting paid in thousands of dollars, living in Nigeria, living somewhere in Ogun State, right? So do not limit your mindset about your business. Do not put a ceiling on who you can reach out to and where you can sell. Make sure that your business is not limited by geography. The only way for you to do that is to study digital marketing, is to study e-commerce, is to study about how you can leverage social media for the benefit of your business. The world has become a global village more than ever. People are not as scared as they used to be anymore. People are not as, people don't see the need to be as careful as they used to be. Before, if you wanted to buy something online, you were so scared, you were so worried, we even preferred to just go to the market. But now, almost everything is online. People order food online. People do everything online. People hardly go to buy stuff by themselves. You can ask Remy Martins, when she talked about natural girl wigs, ask them where the majority of sales come from. There are businesses that are 100% online. They don't even have any physical space. They just run it out of their rooms, right? So this is something that there's no reason why you should not leverage this for the benefit of your business. Before, if you wanted to do marketing 20 years ago, you had to pay for a billboard, you had to pay for a newspaper mention, TV, radio, all of that stuff. Social media removes all the gatekeepers. E-commerce removes all the gatekeepers. Digital marketing removes all the gatekeepers. So you can just go and do it by yourself, straight up. However, it's going to take some work on your part, like deciding that this thing is possible, this thing is not difficult, I am going to learn about it, right? So finally, I'm just going to share with you some opportunities that you should explore post-pandemic. One, the first thing I think you need to explore is community-based marketing. And here's what I mean. So if you've ever heard about Maslow's hierarchy of needs, he says the most important, he lists the most important needs that human beings have. First most important need human beings have is food, water, food and water, physiological needs, right? The second most important is security and safety. Now, the third on that list of most important needs is a sense of belonging. As far back as human beings have existed, we always desired a sense of belonging. So whatever business that you want to build, make sure that you're building it around the community, or you're building a community around your business. So this doesn't mean you need to start afresh. You can also find where communities are already gathering and make sure that your business is built around that community. Your business is attached to a community. Your business attached to a sense of community. So that's one thing social media does for you. You can just speak to 1,000 people at the same time. That's one thing a website does for you. That's one thing a mailing list does for you. It creates a sense of community where people have a sense of belonging. Before, all communities had to meet in person. Now, social media means I can belong to a community in Australia. I can belong to a community in a different part of the world from my bedroom, just the way that there's about 500 people on this forum and we're having this conversation. So think about community-based marketing. Community is a survival need. It's something that human beings need. So build your business around people and their need for community. Another post-pandemic opportunity is education-based marketing. So whatever it is that you're good at, whatever business that you do, there's a chance that you know more about it than the average person. So use your social media to teach people about it for free. Or you can also decide to teach them about it. You can also get them to pay for it. Either way, through education, if I'm learning about something from you for the first time, if you have a different product, there's a high chance that I am willing to buy from you because you went ahead and taught me about it. So think, marketing is not just, trying to convince people to buy what they don't want. It's actually finding what people want and aligning, your marketing with those needs, finding people who need what you have, understanding their problems. The whole reason why we pay doctors is because a doctor understands my body better than me, right? So you need to be that person who understands your industry better than the people buying from you. You understand, you're able to answer questions, you're not dismissive. All your staff, your customer care, they understand that we need, this is our means of marketing. It's education-based. We're educating the customer. they have any questions, we answer. You know, that's something I found out in Nigerian businesses. They're very, you know, they're very, they don't like it when you ask questions. They're like, are you challenging me? Are you saying I don't know what I'm doing? But the more questions people can ask, especially with my generation and like Generation Z, they don't just take things at face value. They have a lot of questions. They're questioning everything. They're questioning religion. They're questioning the government, everything. So as a business, it would be good for you to have, you know, to think education-based so that you're able to answer questions, you're able to spread education. Influencer marketing, that's something Remy already talked about. You want to build your business, you want to think about how can I reach out to those people who have a really loud voice. Whether we like it or not everybody is equally as influential. Some people are more influential than others. So when you're building your business, you need to think, how do I engage different people who are influential in their communities so that my business is relevant in communities, so that my business, you know, communities are built around my business. And number 4, socially conscious marketing. That's something Remy also talked about. There's so many causes that people are passionate about, you know, in development, in women's rights, in, you know, police brutality. There's so many different things that you can talk about. And remember, this is not to teach you to be pretentious or anything. It's just to know that I am in the business of people. If I am going to get these people to buy, I need to care about what they care about. If I'm going to position my business in a way that they actually listen to me, I need to be speaking their language. It's so much easier to bond with someone when you're speaking to them from a point of view of the problem they have. If you're not speaking from a view of the problem I have, I'll tune out. There's so many parts of this forum, for example, that are very valuable. But for some people, they feel like, this is not speaking to me. This is not talking about my problem. So they tune out, right? They zone out. So with your business, you can't afford to have people zone out like that. You have to decide, who am I trying to reach out to? What are their problems? How well do I understand these problems? And how am I going to position myself as a solution? That is how you will make money using social media. Of course, there's a lot of technicalities that we cannot dig into because of time. But just there's so many resources on Google, on YouTube, on Coursera, anywhere on the internet. Just go and search. It's readily available. As a business person, you need to learn about it. So I'll repeat this thing I said earlier. Whatever we're doing, we're in the business of people, no matter what it is. So thank you very much for listening to me. This has been amazing. I'll take questions later. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Salem. Wonderful, wonderful. The Gen Z have said to us, don't leave money on the table. Do not be a lazy entrepreneur. There's no business for a lazy entrepreneur. Use every search engine available to you. Use every technological opportunities you have to push your business into the faces of so many, because a lot of people are embracing technology. Thank you very much. We're going to take some videos, then I will now advertise what BOI is doing for our female entrepreneurs. Hadiza, please, let's go ahead.
Thank you, Ogo. Thank you.
Yes,
but I think it's important to once again thank Oluremi Martins and Salem King.
Okay, sir.
Young people with a lot of determination, and they are focused. We appreciate your presence and what you've given to us. It's of great help to us and our SME customers. Thank you very much. We appreciate you. We'll call you again, I'm sure, because we are developing interest in talking to our customers regularly. So you be featuring regularly in our activities too, because we've seen value in what you have delivered. Thank you once again.
Thank you very much, Edie. We appreciate that. Before the videos begin to play, Faisal, please, we want to acknowledge the presence of some people here, starting from the MDs of our subsidiaries, Lolo, Kadafa, Michael Sotu, Azuka, Mustafa. Thank you for your support always. And the handshake across the table. We also want to recognize some SME-friendly commercial banks represented here mainly by Fidelity Bank. We thank you for participating. Jennifer David Ake of SMEs and Osita Ede. Thank you so much. We appreciate your presence. Some government representatives from different states are also here with us. We have the Alhaji Yahaya The Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Commerce and Investment, Niger State, welcome, sir. The DG, Abuja Chamber of Commerce, Victoria Akai, thank you in spite of the short notice. You made it. Paul Olagun, the President of Chamber of Commerce in Kwara State, thank you. And from Edo State, we have a whole community of representatives, starting from the Honorable Commissioner for Wealth Creation, Honorable Felix Akabwe, and the Permanent Secretary, Joel, Mrs. Dare, the MD CEO of Skills Development Agency, and Mr. Iwe, the Vice President, Chamber of Commerce in Benin City. We want to thank you. There are so many other recognitions as we go on, and as time permits, we'll keep recognizing. But everybody here is important to us, and we appreciate your presence. Now we are going to take 2 videos that showcases some of our customers who have also embraced e-commerce and digital marketing. We'll do that quickly, and then we'll go over to other items. Very quickly, we'll be done. Thank you very much. Pfizer.
Well, Gatino Apparel has always been in the market to service rough and tumble. So what Gatino Apparel was doing was servicing rough and tumble's clothing needs, manufacturing them locally and distributing them through the rough and tumble stores all across Nigeria. So we realized that Gatino Apparel manufacturing was servicing rough and tumble, or could be servicing a lot more clients than just rough and tumble. So we positioned for that. We needed new equipment, new machinery to upgrade, to be able to go into mass production of uniforms, mass production of anything, t-shirts, all those sorts of things. So we upgraded our facility to be able to take care, to be able to take advantage of the opportunities that would exist in that space. So COVID happened, and we already were in that mode of mass production. It's a possibility, we can do this. And so it was just about reconfiguring the machinery to see how could we then take advantage of the things that were needed to be made. If we were able to re-engineer our textile factories to become competitive, we would not be spending all that money. We would be producing garments for the local market. There's 200 million people in Nigeria. There's probably, all across West Africa, there's probably 300 or 400 million people. Even if you're producing for 10% of the market, that's a huge market and a huge opportunity that we're leaving on the table. You know? So for us as a company, it's been about systems, it's been about processes, it's been about training people, it's been about our values, and it's been about our vision. So the vision was to prove that it was possible to make things of a good quality and standard in Nigeria. Then we put the systems and the processes in place that will support that vision and the value system that drives it, that it sits on. We were trying to expand our operations. This is now like, what, 10, 12 years ago? So I was introduced then to the Bank of Industry. And I sat with the Bank of Industry and explained to them how the high interest rates was actually suffocating the business altogether. And they sat with me, and we drew out a roadmap and a road plan. And there was, at the time, there was an intervention fund. And so my loan of 25% was brought down to 4%. Imagine that gap. And that in itself gave us breathing space and is what saved us as a business. And that's the honest truth. Because I don't know what would have happened had we continued with those 20-something percent interest rates. Now for Gatino Apparel, I think along with the entire garment industry, I think it's never been a better time for government to step in and ensure that we get the kind of raw materials that we require. Because to grow the garment industry means that you're creating hundreds of thousands of jobs literally overnight. Yeah. If a factory that has got 240 machines is employing 240 people sitting at the machines, along with supervisors, electricians, cutters, quality assurance, all together they can be about almost 300 people or 300 and something people that business will employ. But it has to get the work. So we have to stop uniforms being made in China. We have to start making uniforms locally. We have to pick maybe 4 or 5 textile companies that we can re-engineer and reinvest in, bring them up to date. And it's not only in garmenting, in agriculture, in all the different areas of industries right across Nigeria. We have to promote Made in Nigeria as a global brand. Digital marketing is the new marketing there is right now. In fact, well, not the new marketing, but it's the most important of all types of mediums of marketing at this point in time. My challenge is finding the people who actually know how to do digital marketing. I think that is part of the biggest challenges that we have in Nigeria. I think it will grow. I think young people understand it better than people my age. But it's now young people having the discipline to sit with a company and grow with that company and learn with that company before they go and establish themselves as people who are authorities in their own space. So there's no marketing without digital marketing. There's nothing to explore. That's it. It's digital marketing or nothing. I can't remember the last time we put an advert in a newspaper. Nobody, who does that? Nobody does that. So it's digital marketing or nothing.
You heard her, digital marketing or nothing. And she has also enjoyed a lot of support from Bank of Industry. Right now, we're going to have the second video from Casmo Industry Limited, Osun State. Please.
We do not have enough capital, and that is why it took so long for the company since 1979 to grow to this stage. We ought to have gone further than this. But the chairman, in all his effort, has tried without any other source of income apart from reinvesting his profits right from the onset. When he started with a vehicle, 2 vehicles, 3 vehicles, he goes out on himself to make sales, he produces and goes out to sell again. That was what he did then. On my arrival to this place, I advised about Bank of Industry. Glory be to God, BOI has done a lot on this company. BOI has really improved the status of the company, and we still hope we'll be able to do more. But what happened is that the yardstick of your growth depends on the resources available. The intervention of BOI is very important here in Nigeria, and we welcome the idea. You can see that anything less than BOI now is like killing the productivity of the company, of the country. So it's either we improve on it, we put more into it, and we add more value and opportunities to this. Because mostly BOI is meant for machineries. Most of the time they don't deal with working capital and some other things. They don't deal with that. BOI don't deal with such as much. And also BOI have been able to help some new and young investors that have ideas. I can see that around. I can see that BOI have done a lot in the industrial sector of the country. To us, we have increased in capacity very well. We increased in capacity to the extent that we cannot even exhaust it. We have not been able to exhaust 20%, or let me say at most 30% of the capacity we have now. And also we have been able to employ people. We have direct employees. We have indirect, that is those on sales. We know quite all right that some of the countries in Africa do not have the opportunity we have in Nigeria, like palm tree and so on. And with the availability of palm kernel oil and PKO, And if we're able to get the costs so that cheaper, and we are able to, we are able to maximize the capacity of our machineries. That is what we really prayed and yearned for. We'll be able to take care of our little domestic market and go for a larger market outside the country. If we have any demand from anywhere in the world now, I'm very sure with the machines we have, we just need little, maybe in the packaging side, to take care of. We'll be able to meet up with what we have on ground. So all we just need is packaging part of the machinery. So as we are growing, as one of the most popular countries in Africa, I believe some other countries are also following suit. So Africa is going to be great, especially in trade and industries soonest. When I travel to India, China for machineries, most of the people I meet there are Africans, people from Tunisia, people from other countries around us here. And they are all doing well. They are all searching for machineries, not goods to buy, but machineries to produce. So African products will go wide enough to take care of Africa and even outside other continents with time. For us to grow in Nigeria, it is important for us to see how we are going to improve in our industrialization, especially providing enabling and convenient environment for young ideas, young brain, new ideas, and people that are ready to work.
Thank you very much for your patience and for still staying on with us. We are not done yet. We would like to recognize the presence of one of the authorities in SME who happen to be part of the BOI family, retired but not tired, Haji Bello Muhammad. Please let us welcome him. He's in the house. Now, we expect the MD/CE of this institution, Bank of Industry, to join us in a few minutes. I don't know if he's on already. Quickly take NGX. We take energy. They are going to talk to us on the role of hybrid power, renewable energy in development and growth of MSME in Nigeria. We have Shehu Oshu Diro to take us on that. Please, you have 10 minutes to do this. Thank you.
All right, good afternoon, everyone. I hope you can all see my screen.
Yes, we can see it.
All right, thank you. Let me just hide this, then I start. Okay, so quickly, we'll talk about the role of hybrid power and how it helps develop the SME markets. And quickly, I'm sure we would know that for every successful business, if you have power issues, it will erode your profit margin. And for you to declare profits, it will be a difficult one. So this presentation is helped to show you how you can make profits, by maximizing power sources available in the markets today. Now, what are the challenges that we have in the market today? Very straightforward. Today, a lot of, when we look at the generation, what we need for us to have stable electricity in Nigeria is about 25,000 megawatts. But as of today, what is being distributed is about 3,800 megawatts. So what it means is for a business to be successful, to depend on what is being supplied by the grid. And when I say grid, the national grid, it's not sufficient and you have to depend on a stable source of power. Over 37 million small businesses in Nigeria. For everything you do from production to manufacturing to distribution, you need power. We all need a reliable power to work. Now, when we talk about hybrid, what does it mean? Hybrid means you have different sources of power available to run your business or your homes. So from grid, which is the most common one, PHCN, now to solar, which is most widely acceptable now. There are other forms, but these other forms are not well known in Nigeria yet, like wind, for instance. CNG is also available, but if you don't have a large space of, or you don't have a network of businesses being together, it will be difficult to use CNG. So solar is what a lot of people do now. And what this means is you can have grid and still have solar. And when it's during the day and the sun is out, your meter on grid will not read. You will just be solely on solar during the day and also at night, depending on the kind of business you do and also the priority of what you do. And I will explain that further during my presentation. Now, what are the benefits of using hybrid solar solutions? The first thing I talked about is it helps you reduce your savings on energy spend. How does this work? If it's an hybrid solution, and please emphasis on the word hybrid. When you have an hybrid solution, the priority will be on sun. So when you have enough sun and your load is not more than what the sun is giving you, I can assure you, because we've tested before with several customers, even your PHCN, some people even turn off their PHCN because they're using sun directly. And also at night, your battery, you can also use it when it drains. You probably wait for sun to come out the following day, or you put on generator or use your grid. The other benefit is pre-rain of diesel. We have a lot of SMEs that they've had to invest money in buying generators and diesel almost every week. And they don't even have an understanding of how much diesel they use per week, because somebody somewhere is stealing diesel per day, and that person is building his own business or his own house, whoever is in charge of the diesel. We've seen this a lot. Carbon emission, we know pollution everywhere. Some buildings you have to repaint every six months, because you are running a generator. Low maintenance costs. Solar is one of the least, that has the least maintenance costs. And with time, we'll be glad to show you that. For an effective hybrid system, which Energy has, you can monitor it online so that way energy efficient. If you've closed and you see your load is high and everybody is shut down, that means your security is probably using its hot plates and you won't be able to use it during the day. The other one is the surge protector. I'm sure a lot of businesses today, by the time you buy 4 or 5 appliances, you have to buy separate surge protector so that those appliances will not spoil. And probably when they spoil, you spend millions of naira to fix them. But when you use a reliable hybrid solution, it comes with inbuilt surge protector, and you don't have to use money to buy multiple appliances just to protect your appliance. Now, these are part of the systems, hybrid systems Energy has today. I won't dwell much on that, but what I can tell you is these systems helps SMEs grow and also residentials. And how? It comes with 5-year warranty, and this includes the battery. Unlike when you've spent a lot and the warranty you have is 18 months. It comes with 5-year warranty and the lifespan is in excess of 10 years. But depending on how you want it to work, we can scale it up and give you something more reliable. Now, this is the online monitoring system that I have, that I've shown you. And this can show you your battery percentage at any time of the day. It can show you your consumption, your generation and consumption, and it can give you much more information about how long your battery will last, assuming there's no sun. So you know that in the next 4 hours, my workers, you need to shut down if need be, and you don't want to put on generator. This is what hybrid system can do for you. Case in point, installations that we've done. This is one of our very first, and we're happy to, and this is with BOI, the data room, BOI data room at the head office. We have a 45 kilowatt system with 5-year warranty that I talked about. And it's taking care of the data center. We have Right Foods, the makers of Biggie drinks, at Ogun State. This is also a 30 kilowatt system that is running for them as we speak. And this is hybrid, like I said, so they have grid plus solar. So hardly do they need to put on their generator, and they've saved a lot of money doing this. The other one is 54 Gene in in Lagos. This is a biolab that cannot afford to go offline for power not to be available. So when they came to us, it was easy for us, and you can see the front part of the building was what we used for the panels to be installed. Isolation center, it's a landmark. We have a 25 kVA there. Osah ICT, Osah, Ogun State, 60 kVA. You know, a whole lot more. Owerri, Adama Hostel. This is completely off grid. This does not even have poles at all. And you know, and they're enjoying the 120 kVA solar system from Energy. This, we have much more, and we're also grateful to what BOI has done. Quite a lot of BOI staff had used our system for installed it in their homes because of the reliability they're enjoying. And we're here today to let everybody listening know that we are reliable and we can support your business to help you save costs and also maximize your profits. And in terms of our investors, you know, Breakthrough Energy Ventures is a venture run by Bill Gates, and we're happy to be, you know, we're happy to have him as one of our investors. Electrify, North Fund, and Allon, which is a subsidiary of Shell in Nigeria, are our investors. So thank you so much. We would like to take questions, and if you have want to reach out to us, any of the numbers listed here and the email addresses, you can send them emails, and we will respond on our best to serve you and our best to help you save money and maximize profits. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We are grateful for this information you have passed on to us. Quickly, let me mention, as I promised, that BOI has a package for female entrepreneurs who would wish to digitize their business and advertise free of charge on a platform that has been packaged by our gender desk. Please contact us, visit our website, and you will see the details. Hadiza, can you flash the flyer quickly so they'll see it? Beautiful. It is free of charge for all female entrepreneurs, have been financed by Bank of Industry. Please, if you're interested, please get in touch with us and we'll be able to guide you on how to take advantage of this. Thank you very much, Hadiza. We'll quickly bring in the MD, CEO of Bank of Industry, Mr. Olukayode Piton, who had approved that this forum held today. You are most welcome, sir. Please,
Thank you very much, Ogo. Yes. Good afternoon to everybody, especially to our customers and to all the facilitators. We thank you all for coming. We thank you for your partnership with the bank over the years. And together, by God's grace, we'll take your business to a higher level. My job is very easy, is to welcome you, even though I've been in other meetings today. And then I will spend a few minutes with all of you so I don't affect the program the way it has been set up, in case there are some particular questions that you might have for the MD. But my job is to thank all of you. And then thank our people in-house, the ED, SME, Alhaji Omar, Shekarau, you know, the GM North, Dr. Rislanudeen Mohammed, Ogo, and every other person who have been part of this, and most especially to our customers. So thank you very much. Coronavirus has caused a lot of problems for many SMEs, depending on the type of business that you were doing. The past 1.5 years have been very difficult. Those who are in hospitality, for instance, hotel business, more guest houses, no business. People in the creative industry, people going to the film houses, the theaters, no business. People in the airline industry, people who are having restaurant business. So the effect has not been the same for everybody. Even though a lot of businesses lost out, there are also some winners, you know, to expand their businesses. So it also means that, you know, the 1.5 years of what we've experienced, you know, will have made you to think about how you can do things differently in your business.
But with your support, another directorate able to disburse 25.76 billion to our customers. We are looking forward to doing more this year and then the years that will come. We had also mentioned that the support from your office and the other executives, as well as legal, RMD, and all the other departments, O&T, has been tremendous, and we are asking for more. We know we will get it. I want to thank you, sir, for sparing time to be with us. I know you have been in different meetings. Your presence has done a lot. We've seen you and we are seeing you, and we want to thank you once again, sir. Thank you, sir.
So thank you very much. So if there are some questions that some customers have, take about 2 or 3 and then let you guys continue.
Okay. So Hadiza, Olaosebikan will take this. Please, Hadiza.
Thank you very much, Ogo. But most of the questions was answered by, I think they've been answered, but we're just waiting
the presenters
to, yes, to just post in. They kind of, I think they just responded to them almost immediately. But we're collating more questions, sir, if that is okay by you.
Okay, well, rather than hold everybody, I think you can continue.
Okay.
The questions now, we can always answer them and get back to the people. But if they're asking questions that we need to get back, then we need to have their email addresses so that they can get their answers. You know, once again, thank you to all of you. You all do a great job. Keep up the good works, and thank you very much.
Thank you very much, sir. We're very grateful. So we'll just quickly take our next presentation, which is by Akin-Olusoji.
I've just made you the SME Man of the Year of BOI. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, MD, sir. Thank you, sir.
All right. Our last presentation for today is by Mr. Akin-Olusoji, who is the Head Government Relations Branch Network Nigeria Exchange Limited. He will be talking about the capital market alternative funding window for SME in Nigeria. We actually reserved the best for the last. Over to you, sir.
Thank you very much, Hadiza, and thank you very much, Ogo. First, let me say that I bring you greetings from the Nigerian Exchange Limited, which you probably know previously as the Nigerian Stock Exchange. My name is Soji Akinyele. I head the branch networks, which basically is the platform through which we disseminate business, financial literacy, and advocacy efforts across Abuja, Kano, Port Harcourt, Onitsha, and Ibadan, our offices across the regions. I want to thank Mr. Olukayode for giving us the opportunity and the platform to make this presentation to you, our dear SMEs. And the reason why I say so is because over the next 10 to 15 minutes, myself and my colleague, Olaitan Owolabi, who is also on this call, will share with you what we consider a very important or unique opportunity within your sector. And that's what we call the NGX Growth Board. And now, without further ado, I'll just go right into it. The reason why we talk about the Growth Board really is that over the past, 1.5 years, with the pandemic and everything, we have seen so much happen. And we've seen companies now go into, like Mr. Quiton was explaining, some have been adversely impacted, but others, very easily known in the telecom sector, have been able to ramp up and have been able to accelerate their growth. But at the Nigerian Exchange Limited, we've been in Nigeria as far as Nigeria's independence. So we understand that when we talk about growth, it's not just growth for the sake of acceleration, it's growth for the sake of sustainability. A business that is able to stand the test of time, a business that is able to contribute and give back to the economy from which it has originated. And so today, the exchange, we have about 155 listed companies. The combination and the value of all these companies comes to about 40 trillion naira. If you think about that from the time of 1960 all the way to now, you can then see, that the Nigerian exchange itself is a growth story. And that's why we're bringing this growth story to you. In 2020, we were actually the best performing exchange in the world, according to Bloomberg, across about 98 exchanges all over the world. So this is a platform that is credible. This is a platform that is able to sustain your business
This is a platform that we believe, can not just grow your business, but actually now take your business further. After all, there's an African proverb that says that if you want to go fast, go alone. But when it is time to go far, it's important that you go together. And so we're inviting you to basically get your business to a stage where you can then begin to enjoy the opportunity of an ecosystem, the opportunity of an ecosystem of investors, an ecosystem of shareholders, an ecosystem of advocates for your business. Because when you think about SMEs, you as an SME, if you just look at the bottom right-hand corner of this slide, you know the threats and the challenges of your business. Paramount among them is typically access to finance, access to information, government policies, multiple taxation, and all of that. What the Nigerian Exchange Limited offers you is an opportunity to access capital, not just capital for the sake of it, but long-term, right-sized, patient, and sustainable capital over an extended period of time through the different products and services that we have. And one of those products is the Growth Board that we're talking about today. So the Growth Board really is a platform where SMEs, the SME category, and targeted at fast-growing SMEs can actually list and have access to different types of capital market instruments in order to access funds to move their businesses to the next level. Now, you tell me that, many of the concerns around listing on the exchange, and when you hear about stock exchange or securities exchange and things like that, these are perhaps the 4 paramount concerns that we tend to hear about exchanges and why, SMEs may not want to list on them. The first one is always about the shareholding and the loss of control of ownership. And perhaps the way to address this is to ask you, would you rather have 100% of something very small that is not able to scale? You have heard the success stories from the likes of Banrut, from the likes of Casmo, from the likes of Gatimo, and you hear how they are employing hundreds, 300s, thousands of people in their workspace. They cannot do that if they are not able to open up themselves to access more capital. So would you rather have 100% of a mom and pop shop, or would you rather have 85% of something that is globally recognizable because it is listed on the Nigerian Exchange Limited? Because one of the requirements of our listing is that just a minimum of 15% of your shareholding becomes publicly owned. Publicly owned here does not mean that a foreigner is going to take over your shares. No, it is actually retail investors like you and I, institutional investors like the pension funds, right, and other high net worth individuals that are investing in you through a credible platform like the Nigerian Exchange in order for you to do better business. You talk about profit sharing. Now, this is important because at profit level, then of course, there's the consideration of dividends. All this helps you do is to keep you in a disciplined way, understanding that your business is, as we say in Lagos, is not here to count bridges. It is here to actually do business. It is here to make profit and to do good. So profit sharing shouldn't be a problem when you consider listings. The other thing we talk about and people complain about are the associated costs towards listing on the Nigerian Exchange. And that is why the Growth Board has been carefully crafted to ensure that the cost and the applicable fees of listing on the Growth Board are exceedingly low. And my colleague Olaiton will talk about that when he begins to talk about the listing requirements. Of course, you talk about disclosure. Here in Africa, we like to keep things very private. But not everything that is private is good. Sometimes it's important to showcase what you are doing to the world. Aren't you happy how you can hear the stories of Gatimo, of Casmo, and all those companies? If you do not showcase them to the world, how then can they understand better how to do business? So disclosure requirements on the exchange only keep you honest and true, because what it does is that it makes sure that you follow global practices in terms of accounting standards, in terms of reporting standards, in terms of civic responsibility or your corporate responsibility to Nigeria, which is about paying taxes, transparency, brand integrity, and all of that. So I just want to address these concerns, right, and just talk about some of the benefits there that you get from listing on the exchange. There are so many benefits to you as an SME, as an issuer. The first thing you get is that you understand a sense of valuation for your company. Today, your company may just be worth 100 million naira or 500 million naira or even a billion naira. But because of how you operate it, you are not able to unlock that potential. You are not able to allow the knowledgeable investment community to actually assess you and value you in the right way in order to enhance liquidity for you. There's also the issue of an exit option for core investors. When you've taken investments like the BOI investment, have core investors like that, it's important that you have an exit option where then you can convert this and almost democratize in a way, shareholding in order to keep you, like I said, honest and true to the tenets of the business. At that point, you need a platform like the Nigerian Exchange as an exit option for your core investors. It diversifies your investment base. It enhances the visibility of you and SME as a growth company, and also gives you increased corporate governance in terms of making sure that you are doing business according to the tenets of the law, according to global best practices and standards. These are the benefits that accrue to you as an SME and as an issuer, as a prospect coming to the stock exchange. This is the slide where I will stop and then turn over to my colleague, Olaiton. So Olaiton gets set. And what I want to say here is, basically here in Nigeria or in Africa, what we talk about is that, look, if you believe so much in your business, then you should also invest in it. So right now, the Nigerian Exchange Group, which is the parent company of the Nigerian Exchange Limited, is actually going to list on the exchange. And that announcement was made yesterday and it's going to happen tomorrow, Friday. So I'm saying that if our parent company, if we can also list on ourselves, that is a vote of confidence and a proof to you that this is actually the platform to take your business to the next level of sustainability and growth. I'll turn it over to Olaiton now to speak about some of the listing requirements for a growth board, and then we can take questions. Olaiton, over to you.
Thank you very much, sir, for doing great justice to the previous slide. So I'll just take on the routes to listing on our growth board, as mentioned by my colleague. So we have two main points at which you can come into the growth board, which is the growth board entry segment and the growth board standard segment. And I'll quickly just differentiate the differences between these two entry points. For growth board entry, we are targeting small enterprises, the micro small enterprises whose capitalization is between 50 million to 500 million naira. So by capitalization, we mean your outstanding equity, that means your shareholdings with the price that will be discovered when you are coming on board to list, it should be between 50 million to 500 million. So I'll get practical with this. What it means is that, let's say for instance, as an example, your registered shareholdings with CAC is say 10 million ordinary shares at ₦1 each. So because we have people we call designated advisors, which I will also touch on in the in subsequent slides. When they discover your price and then they say your price is 6 naira per share, that is the market value of your equity shares. We will now multiply your 10 million ordinary shares of ₦1 each by your price, which is 6 naira, to get 60 million naira, which means you qualify to be on the growth board entry segment. Now, for the growth board standard segment, we expect growing firms whose capitalization will be between 500 million to 4 billion naira. These are the two entry points, and they are denoted by capitalization. Can we go to the next slide, sir? So what are the criteria, the eligibility criteria for coming on to the entry segment of the growth board? So the route one, this is the first route. These are for companies that are already listed on the main board or on the premium board of NGX, and they can just write an application to us, and then we can downgrade them down to the growth board. But the route two is where I will touch on for companies that are coming in newly to our growth board platform. Now, the requirement says that you must have an evidence of investment by a core investor who is a strong technical partner that has 2 minimum operating track record, or a majority shareholder who is either a high net worth individual or who is a director of a listed company. Now, let me explain what a high net worth individual is. By high net worth individual, we mean someone whose cash and cash equivalent is 300 million and above. This is excluding landed properties and tangible assets. So it means cash and cash equivalent. So if your business can show us that one of the people that are promoting you or putting money into you have these qualifications, then you satisfy that requirement. And of course, I mentioned earlier for the entry segment, you will have a 50 million naira capitalization, minimum of 50 million capitalization on the date that we receive your application to list on the bars of the Nigerian Exchange Limited. Then you will appoint a designated advisor. These designated advisors are issuing houses, investment bankers. They are necessary because they are the ones that will submit your application, both as Security and Exchange Commission said, and to us at NGX. And then you must have a minimum of 25 shareholders. Then you undertake to ensure that the promoters or directors retain a minimum of 50%. And what we're trying to do with this is to install confidence in the market, because we know there are sharp practices, especially in this part of the country where we find ourselves, where people will promote a company and then do an IPO, sell shares to the public, and then they will just, sell the shares and then go to thin air. But by holding on to half of your investment in a company for a year, it boosts the public trust in the company. And of course, any other information by the exchange. Next slide, sir. Now for standard segment, which is the second part of the growth board, for the new companies that will be listening, we require core investors or strong technical partner who has a minimum of 4 years operating track record, or a majority shareholder who is HNI. So you would notice that for the entry segment, it was a minimum of 2 years operating track record we require for a core investor. Then the requirement for free floats in the standard segment is 15%. So let me just quickly explain what a free float means. It means that when you're coming to list on the bars of the Nigerian Exchange Limited and your total equity holdings is determined, it's mandatory that you sell 15% of your equity shareholdings to the general investing public. You can decide to sell as much as 40%, 49%. The controlling interest in any listed company is 51%. So anybody that has 51% of the shareholdings of the company is a majority shareholder and has a controlling interest. So you can decide to, depending on your funding needs, sell as much as your equity shareholdings to the general public. Now for market capitalization, like I explained earlier, for the standard segment, it has to be between 500 million to 5 billion as of the day you submit your application to the exchange. And then you must have appointed a designated advisors. And of course, the shareholders must be 51. We also observe that there has been some changes at CAC because now we know that 2 people can form a PLC, even 1 person can form a PLC. But for the sake of transparency, to build market confidence, we insist on the number of shareholders to be 51 for standard segment. Then
Alaito, please. Yes, Alaito, would like you to round off in the next 1 minute, please.
Thank you very much. We'll do that. So the last part of the standard segment is where we ensure that 50% of the shares that the promoters are selling to the public is being retained by them for a period of 12 months. Next slide.
Okay, thank you, Olaiton. Let me just round up for the sake of time. I know we've spent a lot of time on this forum today. Ladies and gentlemen, what I will do is to request that if you have any inquiries, particularly about this listing process, which I'm going to leave here, please send us an email. I'm just going to go to our slide now that contains that. Please send us an email across any of these platforms. If you're in Abuja, feel free to send an email to abuja@ngxgroup.com. If you're within the Ibadan or the Southwest environment, just send to ibadan@ngxgroup.com, or in the North, Kano @ngxgroup.com, or nature@ngxgroup.com, or Port Harcourt@ngxgroup.com. Any of these email addresses or my personal email address up there, we will respond to you and give you specific answers to any interest or questions that you have regarding the listing process. We are here to support you and to carry you along in this journey that the BOI has begun with you, and we're proud supporters of the work that the BOI is doing as well. Thank you very much for your time. We can take questions, but these are our contacts if you'd like to send us information. Thank you.
Thank you, Soji and Olaito, for that wonderful expose on what NGX does and how they can help our customers. We truly appreciate your time here, and I'm sure a lot of people will contact you to shed more light on what you have just done this afternoon. We appreciate you. Very kind of you. Thank you. We quickly invite.
Thank you, Ogo.
Yes, sir.
Also, on behalf of the Directorate and the bank itself, thank Soji and Olaito. We are grateful. You honored the invitation and you did excellently well. For our customers, it's important to mention that we've seen the growth of our SME customers from SME to large enterprises. And therefore, we started this early today to make sure that we give you all that you need in terms of financial advice, so that you will also take advantage of this. When next we have such meetings, we'll also bring in other relevant organizations that will talk to you. The whole idea is, how can we have a total package for our customers? Thank you very much. Thank you, Ogo.
Thank you, my ED, ever supportive, ever present, ever helping. Thank you so much, sir. We'll quickly bring in Shehu Tubi, our head of cybersecurity and technology, to speak to us quickly on cybersecurity. With all the automation, technology, digitization comes a lot of issues. And of course, the bad guys are not sleeping. So they are here to please warn us on ways we can ward off these bad guys from our business. Quickly after him will be Obaro, the man behind the whole forum holding today. He will be speaking to us on how we are trying to make it easy for all our customers. Thank you. Please take it, Shehu.
Okay, thank you very much, and good afternoon to everyone, and particularly our customer. I hope this session so far has been rewarding and insightful. For the next minute or two, I'll just quickly highlight to us why cybersecurity is important. I hope everyone can hear me.
We can hear you, Shehu. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Yes, so I'll be talking to us why cybersecurity is important to us. Interestingly, a lot of the speakers today have mentioned about the digital, economy, the fact that you can do a lot online, the fact that you can advertise online, the fact that activities, business operations now take place online, just as what we're doing, currently. The first thing I'll be highlighting is the fact that SMEs, small businesses, are also targets of cyber attack. I mean, gone were the days when we used to think that cyber attack is for big organizations or even nations. And yes, a lot of the news on high-profile attacks we've heard recently seems to have targeted big organizations. I'm sure earlier in the year you heard about the cyber attack that grounded almost a large portion of the retail fuel retail distribution system in America, and many other ones. But the truth is that a lot of small businesses are also being attacked. One statistic says that up to 77% of cyber attacks actually target SMEs. Another statistics as far back as 2015 says that 74% of SMEs reported security breach. This was conducted in UK, and that 66%, as 2 out of 3 SMEs, do not think that cyber attack will come to them. But the reality is that there are 2 types of businesses, 2 types of organizations. One, those that think or those that know they have been attacked, and those that don't know yet that they have been attacked. So we must, as small businesses, as business owners, be mindful of cyber security. The second thing, number 2, is the fact that we must take awareness. Very important. And what is awareness? It's just reminding ourselves over and over the little things that we need to do to ensure that we stay ahead of criminals. And what are those things? Things like don't use common password. Don't make your password, very, very easy to guess. When you step up from your desktop, make sure your screen is locked and things like that. And as business owners, as CEOs, as executives, while we may be, we may be taking a lot of these things, as priority, we must also be mindful of the employees that work with us. If any employee fails or allows himself or herself to be the window, for criminals to come into the organization, the entire organization is exposed. So we must not only be mindful of these things ourselves, but we must endeavor to also train them or teach them to other employees in the organization. Number 3, data protection and privacy. It's been said over and over that data is the new oil, and the data we collect as we do business, particularly on our customers, is important. We must protect them. We must put in place measures to ensure that those data are protected as much as possible from those who will want to breach those data. As a matter of fact, in Nigeria today, there's a regulation called Nigerian Data Protection Regulation, being championed by NITDA, that's National Information Technology Digital Agency. And that regulation expects that every organization that capture data of individuals, and I'm sure in the last 1.5 years, at least, even if we have not been selling to customers, digitally, in the last 1 year, we will have been forced to do that. So most likely, all businesses that are, on this forum would have been capturing data of individual people. So that regulation expects that you must put in place certain measures to protect the data of those individuals, their emails, their about data, their phone numbers, etc. We must ensure that we put in place measures to protect that data. Failure to put in place those measures attract a fine, and that fine can be as much as 2% of your annual revenue. I'm sure we don't want to be in that on the wrong side of the law. Number 4, importance of data backup. Technology or digital platforms may fail, so it's important for us as business owners to ensure that we back up our data. And there are so many tools, so many platforms. There are cloud systems where we can back up the data, or you can even find a way to back it up on a hard drive and ensure that it's properly secure. Number 5 is two-factor authentication. Now, this speaks to the need for us to ensure that access to our accounts, whether it's email account or whether it's social media account, Instagram, Facebook, or any other channel that we use to do business, is further protected. Yes, we have password, we have user ID, but in addition to that, we also need to have second factor authentication. What this does is that in case there is a breach on our password, we have that additional level of security that can protect us. And then finally, the importance of cybersecurity risk assessment. All the business owners here, we desire that our business will grow. Earlier on, we were informed about the opportunities across the continent. As we grow our business, it's important for us to bear in mind that let us cultivate the habit of putting in place risk assessment. And basically, what does it mean? It means that we look at the business, we look at the assets we have, we look at how important those assets, we prioritize them, and we begin to, one after the other, put in place measures to ensure that they are secure. And there are so many benefits that gives to us. In a nutshell, as business owners, as SME businesses, we must put cybersecurity at the front burner. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Shehu. We appreciate you. We hope that this will be applied by everybody to make sure that we don't lose this money that we're working so hard and very hard to accumulate and to progress our businesses. Thank you so much. We call on Obaro Osah, the Divisional Head SME-South and the Chairman of the committee for this forum, to speak to us briefly as we move towards another segment where we take questions and engage you. Your feedback is part of the reason why this customer forum was organized, so we can hear from you and feel your heartbeat towards us and our products and services. Thank you very much so far for staying on. Please don't run away. In about 10 minutes, we'll be done with everything. Thank you. Obaro, please.
Okay, thank you, Ogo. There's going to be a very slight modification because I've been communicating with ED. We will respond to all the questions formally in writing. So please leave behind your email addresses as the MD has earlier advised, because we are conscious of the time. So I am going to do a very short comment and then take closing prayers and leave. But please leave behind your email address. There'll be formal questions thereafter. So thank you very much. Most of my comments have actually been addressed by the video presentation. You will agree with me that this customer forum or stakeholders engagement has been of value to all of us. Why? Because we've been sharing knowledge. We've been sharing information free of charge. We've been sharing what to look at in business, you know. So secondly, as an institution, our objective is being fulfilled because by this forum, we are providing non-financial advisory, which is even more valuable than finance, you know, because when somebody has knowledge, you can create wealth. If you don't have knowledge and they throw money at you, you can actually lose the fortune, you know. So knowledge is very critical, you know. All of us listen to Mr. Bello Muhammad, you know. I learned a lot from his content. And I wanted to make a comment then, but there was no time to do that, to say this apprenticeship model, we thought it was only predominant in Eastern Nigeria. We never knew it also has a root in the Kano hub. You know, so clearly, those in Harvard who went to study the Eastern model apprenticeship should also have a peep at Kano and add it to what they have in their record in discussing the apprenticeship model on an international scale, because clearly, we also have the same example in northern Nigeria. So our objective, continuously provide assistance to customers. So the conversation continues. We have 30 offices. We are online. You can reach us through all the mediums available, your SMS, telephone, WhatsApp, physical visits, email and email, write a letter, write anything, document it, and we'll respond to you, and we continue to do that. So we continue also to provide professional and economical advice, you know, to our customers, because essentially what are we doing? We are lending, we are providing funding, and the fund we are providing is to create wealth, to create economic value to our customers, both current and those who are coming to the future. What have we done to make it easier? We've automated our credit process. You know, we've deployed in this forum now the BOI staff across the federation. Some are in Lagos, some are in Kano, some are in Abuja, but I hook up to a network because of the inbuilt capacity to have in-house to actually operate from wherever we are in the world. Let me not say just in Nigeria, because some of our colleagues may not be in Nigeria, but are hooked up to this platform, listening and sharing knowledge with us in the past 2-3 hours. Also, what did we do to make it easier? As Maidi said, because of the pandemic, we offered a lot of concessions. We restructured several facilities. We reduced our interest rate across board by 2%, okay? We embarked on several engagement with customers so that if the customer has a challenge, we don't abandon that customer. We work with the customer to think of a solution, okay? And see how we can jointly work together to move out of that problem. As long as the customer is ethical, customer has character, customer is honest and sincere, and is present the facts as they are. Once the facts are presented coherently, transparently, honestly, and of course, you are a very ethical person, there's no way the bank will not work with you. We've also expanded our foothold, you know, as Maidi said earlier, we now have 30 locations, and hopefully we might go to all the states of the Federation. What have we done to also make it easier? We have a standardized checklist, you know, for both pre-approval and post-approval, you know, so that ensures that there is a uniformity, there's standardization across board. So if you go to any of our offices, whether you go to Kano or you go to Asaba, or you come to Lagos, or you go to Abeokuta, the same standard, the same process, the same requirements, the same documentation. What you have perhaps, maybe people will be different, but because we have the same credit process, it means that there's standardization across board. So if you go to, depending on where you are, walk to any of our branches, the checklist they'll give to you is the same as if you go to another business office of the bank. So we also be able to achieve that. Some of the benefits of that is that we have a standardized standard operation procedures across the system. We have a standardized credit process across the system. And also that has helped us to upscale our operations. So even despite the pandemic, we just realized that we're actually doing more to our customers despite the pandemic, because we've already have inbuilt a process. We've already have inbuilt standards. We already built technology and also had the people. So with that, despite the changes in the macro environment, BOI has been able to stay the course. That is why we check our financial performance in the last 3, 4, 5 years. It has been constant growth. And that also supports our current rating, where we have one of the best ratings today in the Nigerian system. So the conversation will continue, So I want to thank all of you. I want to thank our customers, thank the management staff present, thank all our key strategic partners, thank everybody, and especially the organizing committee who were able to put this information together, this platform and this program together. I owe you a whole lot of gratitude for what you've done to ensure that the SME Directorate actually have a very good session as we wind down 2021. So thank all of you. And I want to invite Sanusi Gidado, the head of SME Funds, to help us in our closing prayers. Thank you and God bless you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Mr. Obaro. Please, we want to announce that there will be a poll that will be sent out after the webinar that will go to all the participants. Please help us fill the poll so that we know exactly how well we have done with you and areas you want improvement, whether in our services, this seminar itself, the forum itself, and any other thing you want us to know about. Thank you very much. Mr. Sanusi, please.
Thank you very much for the invitation. Alhamdulillah, it's been a very fantastic event. It's been a very fantastic outing. For this, we're ever grateful to Almighty God, who made it possible for all of us to be here together here this afternoon. We started with a population with participants in excess of 500, and the attendees are still very much on the high side. So for that, we're grateful to Almighty Allah. And we pray in His most holy name to continue to guide the leadership of our country, the leadership of this great bank, to continue to be a reliable partner for our SMEs and business entrepreneurs. We are also praying to Almighty God to continue to preserve, protect, and save our people and our businesses from pandemics, not just COVID, but even the ones to come much later. We are also praying to Almighty God to continue to grant wisdom, perseverance, and courage to our leaderships at various levels and to our entrepreneurs. We are also praying to Almighty God to continue to support and protect and grow Bank of Industry so that we will continue to mint the next generations of global entrepreneurs, successors to the likes of Aliko Dangote, Jim Ovia, Tony Elimelu. We are also praying to Almighty God to continue to grant good health, courage, strength, and wisdom to our leaders at the directorate level, Mr. Obaro and Dr. Rislanudeen, at the divisional level, that's the EG, who has been our rock and bridge. He's been a very supportive mentor, a very good guide. He has been handholding each and every aspect of SME. In fact, the only word that we can describe our enviable ED is the father of SME. We are praying to God to continue to grant him good health, to continue to protect him, to provide him wisdom and more energy. To one and only MD, we have you in our prayers each day. Each session we start at our local meetings and even with business communities. We are proud to show the world that you are the rock and the bridge of Bank of Industry. You are leading the bank and leading it to greater height. And you are leaving behind a very strong and better bank, all because of your commitment, not just to SME, sir, but to entrepreneurial development. So we pray to God to continue to grant you good health, wisdom, and strength to carry this burden each day. For this, let me finally say a prayer to all of us. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim. Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to pray. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Sanusi. Once again, we thank each and every participant today. You've made this a success and we are happy. We thank especially executive management for the support throughout this planning process, all the approvals we needed and everything. Our speakers, customers that we had to visit, video their operations and hear their take on what is going on around the theme of this forum. We want to thank Obaro for the leadership, guidance he provided throughout, and especially Hadiza Olaosebikan, who we pulled from CCD to come help us out with this throughout the planning period. And I cannot stop before I will thank all the planning committee members. You've been wonderful. You've been gracious. You've been shown a great commitment. Suleiman, Chuka, Aminu, Angole, Dr. Jawuro, Pacqueens, Nasiru, Chris, a whole lot of others. Please forgive me if I didn't mention your name, but you people have been wonderful. Faiza, Solomon, wonderful people, all of you have been on this committee giving. Richard, Imonije, I thank you all, everybody, please. But forgive me if I still didn't mention your name. But I'm grateful that you have been part of this. Our customers, you are wonderful. God bless you all. We pray that you can only experience successes. Thank you, our ED, our general, number one. God bless you, sir. We are very grateful to all the heads of departments that we had to disturb for this. For all those who came in here to give us support, we thank you. God bless you all. I'll see you next time, next year, when we'll come back with another forum. God bless you all.